Mahito, save me.
マヒトさんの新しいお母さんになるのよ。
Save me, Mahito!
What exactly are you?
姉妹波が来る。あの後は穏やかになる。
You should know that strange occurrences do happen here.
Let's go!
You heard it up top. We're coming to the final film of a true legend as we wrap up our long-form series, kind of, by discussing his last directed film. We ask ourselves, how do we live? While discussing The Boy and the Heron, here on Normies Like Us with your hosts. That weird dying pelican as voiced by Willem Dafoe, Colin.
Nice. Mike Hito. I'm a mixed drink.
Oh.
And this is Heron Jacob. I was going to say, are you the boy or are you the Heron in this scenario?
I just
I'm
want to ask
Grand.
you.
Maybe I could be Grand Jacob.
I'm the really
Grand
old guy
Uncle
that just wants
Jacob?
a cigarette. Yeah, Grand. Oh, you're that old guy.
Yeah.
I'm the weak old guy at the beginning who's just teaching him how to make the knife.
How to do the knife?
Yes,
Yeah.
good. Give me a cigarette, though.
Oh man, there's only two in the pack anyway. Boy and the Heron. How do you live?
Yeah.
The final
Back at it again. How do
Miyazaki
you
directed
live?
movie.
And yes, this is, of course, like you said, the final so far film of Hayao Miyazaki. We don't know. Maybe he'll make another one. We just don't know.
How old? How
Yeah.
old is our master?
He's in his 80s.
Oh,
We look.
This movie is maybe
like that.
He's
kind
85.
of about him thinking about getting older and what's going
But
to
for
happen.
a long time, people thought The Wind Rises was his last film, right? And then he came back and made this film. And yeah, obviously this is a very personal film for him, a very autobiographical film, and we're going to get into all the symbolism and meaning within this film. And this is the first film that came out while we were making this podcast, which is interesting. So I saw it when it was in theaters. Colin, I think you saw it as well. Mike, this is your first time seeing this, I believe.
Correct. I did not see this when it came out in 2023. 10-year break between The Wind Rises and this, something like that. So yeah, this is a first viewing for me.
And Colin, what was your first viewing like?
Well, buckle up. Buckle up, listeners.
All right.
This is gonna be one of those like, ooh, hold it together, Colin episodes. So I do apologize for that. But I will say this was supposed to be the last film that I saw with my father before he passed away. So this would have been December 2013. He died June 2014, so 6 months after this. It's that rare one time where I was home from California to Ohio. It would have been when I visited for Christmas. And we were supposed to see this film. He decided not to come. So instead, the film we saw the day before my brother and I went and saw this film together was the last film I saw with my father, Godzilla -1.
Wow.
Hey, that's not a bad
Very
one.
strange. Yeah, two Japanese films back to back. I just remember thinking, wow, what a really cool Christmas we're having.
That is an interesting
But
way to do it.
obviously, the lock-in on that and why I have such a unfortunate like drawing and maniac relationship to this film is that this is a film about a quest for a lost parent, right? Like it's
right.
It's, so unfortunately tied to the narrative.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah, you're dealing with the death of a parent. Yeah, I thought very thematically relevant. So will be interesting to talk about.
And this is one. It's right. No, it's heavy. It's dense, and this is one that I watched twice. This is the only one of these that I watched twice. I watched it once in Japanese and once in English because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it because there is so many layers to it between the autobiographical nature and stuff. So I'm interested to kind of get you guys' thoughts when we jump.
It's very, I would say the most similar film before this one to this one, I would say, is Spirited Away, right? Where it has the sort of fairy tale, dreamlike
isekai
atmosphere to it. And again, a lot of symbolism and stuff like that. So it has this sort of dreamlike storytelling quality, but it's very imaginative. But trying to explain the plot is going to be difficult, right, with this one.
Yeah.
But I will say I watched, so for all these movies I've seen them all before, mostly in English. So I was watching the Japanese language versions of all of these. Now these are all on HBO Max,
Mm-hmm.
and they all have the English language version and the Japanese language version. This one, when I tried to look it up, I couldn't find the Japanese language version on HBO Max. I could only find the English version. So I don't know what was going on there. But so unfortunately, this one I only have seen in English, and I wasn't able to watch the Japanese language version, which was a little disappointing. But then you get the great Robert Pattinson Heron voice. So I've seen this twice, both times in English.
Wow.
Yeah, it's such a star-studded cast that I was like, I need to see, because this is when Miyazaki had already won an Oscar. He's been established, so it's like everybody that could sign on did. Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, like you said, we have Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale's in this. It's crazy.
Spoiler alert, I watched this film in Japanese. I had previously watched it in English, of course, when we saw it in theaters originally, my brother and I, but I watched this film in Japanese. Spoiler alert, the laugh I let out loud, Mike, as I saw the credits roll, you're talking about these parts, when it says Dan Stevens' Tony Revolori play, and it just says parakeets next to it. It's like, I cackled, dog, just that anyone will take a role.
Yeah. Colin, you watched this in Japanese. Did you watch this on HBO?
I watched this on Hoopla, the library app, dog.
Wow, nice.
This is
good
weird
plug.
because
I've been watching a lot of these.
Yeah, for every past Miyazaki film, they have separate versions on HBO Max. One is the Japanese language version specifically. This one, only the English would come up. So I was like, what the hell? So I don't know if it's maybe because it's newer or there's some kind of rights issue, but I wasn't able to watch the Japanese version on HBO.
I wonder if a VPN, sponsor of this episode, no. I wonder if that would help, though, if you had a VPN.
No, I like to follow the rules.
I love rules.
Yeah, but the first time I saw this, I did go see it in the theater, and that was a great experience. But it really does take multiple viewings to really take it all in, because there's stuff you miss, and there's just so much detail to it and so much imagination. But it is sort of like just this dreamlike narrative where he enters this world full of birds and oceans and all this crazy stuff going on, and an old man building towers out of blocks and all this stuff. So we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, I watched it Saturday in Japanese and in English on Sunday, and I've just been slowly like peeling back more of the symbolism. It's been interesting to sit on, so I'm excited to dive in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, this is a very autobiographical movie for Miyazaki. It's set in post World War II, at the same time that he was a child. So you can see Mahito sort of represents him as a child. His mother also died when he was young, and his father worked in an airplane parts factory as an engineer and stuff. So there's a lot of parallels to Miyazaki's own childhood in this movie.
We go
should
from.
Also stay up.
Go ahead.
Oh, please.
Well, I was saying he did a biographical, semi-biographical one for The Wind Rises, and then did a semi-autobiographical one for this. So it's these interesting kind of double play here. But go ahead.
That's why I think both these movies work so well as sort of his swan song and sort of his culmination of his career, and kind of looking back on his own career, and this kind of comments on the world that he is leaving behind, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about it.
Same.
Well, we should also talk about, let's mention real quick before we jump over, that it is called The Bird and the Heron, but we did also mention the other title, How Do You Live, which is directly referenced in this. It's a separate book, literally a novel written by Genzaburo Yoshino in 1937. And of course, this film does just include a scene where they're like, hey, have you read this book?
Right, yeah.
You know about this book?
Yes, it's not a title in Japanese adaptation of that book, because the book, it's a very different plot-wise from the book, but it is referencing that book, so maybe there's thematic similarities. And at one point, Maito finds this book and he says, he was left, his mother left it for him or something. And if you think back to The Wind Rises, where they say it in that the wind rises, we must find a way to live. And now you have How Do You Live? So it's really Miyazaki's asking us, how do you live?
And it's in Japanese, it's Kimitachi wa do ikiru ka, which Kimitachi is like you as a group of people. It's not like you as an individual. Like, how do you live? It's more of like Kimitachi. Like, how do you out there experiencing this work live? you know. So there's a little bit of
Wow.
context with the verbiage of Kimitachi being like not an individual you, but a collective you. How do you live out there, kind of thing too.
I like how for English audiences are like, these dumb
Nope.
Americans, they're not going to understand. Let's call it. There's a
Nope.
boy and there's a heron in this movie. Let's call it The Boy and the Heron. Because who's going to go see a movie called How Do You Live? We
Yeah.
need to tell them what's in the movie. There's a boy and a heron.
Boy and a heron.
Was Ponyo the real title of Ponyo? Or is that called something
Ponyo
different?
on the cliff or something, right?
Ponyo
Oh,
on the
really?
cliff. Yeah, cliffside, yeah.
Oh, that's again, Jacob. That's so funny. No, get that out of there. We can't hang with any of that.
It
That's
is funny
bad.
to be like, I'm making my
Ponyo by
magnum
the
opus
cliff.
about the nature of creativity. How do you live? And they're like, we're going to call it The Boy and the Heron. He's like, no,
It's
you
like-
can't do that.
What's like the big stuff in this? There's like a girl. There's like a boy.
Like a
There's like a
heron.
heron.
They send him over that
Gray
copy.
heron.
He just ripped a cig and was like, fuck it, I don't
you-
care anymore.
If you asked most Americans what a heron is, do you think they would know?
Most, I don't know.
Maybe. I
Maybe.
feel like it's kind of common knowledge. No?
We,
I think it was heroin.
oh yeah, they would know what that
The Boy
is.
and the Heroine.
That's right. No, we always had the great blue heron hanging out by the lake near our house. I know what a
Yeah.
heron is, but maybe
Sure.
it's a Midwest thing.
I'm kind of an ornithology expert. I know a lot about birds, so of course I would
Well, we're
kinda
gonna
know what a
lean on
heron
you
is.
for this one.
Wow, there's a lot of
Yeah.
birds in this movie, dog.
Yeah,
Yep.
there is a lot of birds. But hey, should we jump in and start talking? The Boy and the Heron, aka How Do You Live?
We're back here on Normies Like Us. We were again talking about legacies, masterworks, a masterpiece. We're talking The Boy and the Heron. Although I'll be curious what our initial thoughts are, Mike. Again, it's your first time seeing this. I definitely want to hear those first thoughts. But we're talking this
Yes, and-
masterwork. Oh, please.
I also want to say, I think at the end of this episode, we're going to talk, since we covered all of Miyazaki's films, and we still need to talk about what we're going to do as far as a bonus episode next month, perhaps a bonus Ghibli movie not directed by Miyazaki. But since we've covered all of Miyazaki's films, we're going to do our personal rankings of all of his films we've covered over the last year, and we can talk about that. So that'll be at the end of the episode.
Now that we've
That's right.
gone through all of them, yep. 12 films. What a journey.
What
That's
a
right.
journey. We're also going to go through, after these initial reactions, sort of the plot, and it's one of the rare times where I have the Wikipedia up, because as Jacob said, this is sort of a naughty little adventure here. Now, I want to say, like, if our responsibility to go through on this podcast these things that we talk about is to sort of like break down the plot, this is one where I kind of don't care at all. I kind of lead so forward with my heart on this one opposed to my head. And it really is more how this film makes me feel and how it makes me feel in the mind of Mahito, the lead character that we'll talk about. So that's sort of always been my read on this film. But yeah.
I would agree with
Yeah.
that. I think it's not so much about the literal plot of what's happening, because again, it has this sort of dreamlike logic to it where he's going into different magical worlds and like traveling through time, and certain characters are like old ladies that become younger versions of themselves at one point. Sometimes they become
Or Jules, maybe.
dolls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And like I
Maybe
said,
they're
there's
both at
different-
the same
there's
time. Yeah, it's
kingdoms of birds and
Yeah.
all kinds of crazy shit. But essentially, it's about a boy who lost his mother in a fire during the World War II. Right. His father works at a airplane parts factory, I think, designing airplane parts. And so because his mother dies in this fire, he remarries a woman who we maybe find out later is his wife's sister. And it's about kind of they move to her rural estate. And so it's kind of, he's having to upheave his life and move to this new place, and his
New
feelings
school.
around all of that.
New
Yeah.
mom, new house, new everything, right? And it's like, how does
Yeah.
he adjust to these changes around him broadly?
So again, that reminds me of Spirited Away, where you have this young girl who's moving to a new place with her family. She goes on this crazy adventure. And And so I see a lot of similarities between this and Spirited Away.
I felt the same way too. It's like it has a lot of that DNA, but it's more. I think that's a movie for kids. This feels like a movie for adults in a way.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more mature in its theming, even though the main character is a child. I think it's a little more grown up than some of his other movies.
I would agree with that, and also being such a personal movie to Miyazaki himself. And I think this is not an easy film to just sort of just put on and watch and like, yes, I understood everything. Because I know
No.
that's how I felt when I first saw it in theaters. I was like, I liked it, but I didn't totally like jive with it the first time because I was like, there's so much going on. I'm not sure I understood it all. Maybe I need to sort of see it again and think about it more. So it's not like some of his more crowd pleasing movies where you can just jump in and just enjoy it, where you really kind of have to sit with it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that was the scariest to the people who lived through this ad cycle and sort of marketing campaign was you were getting hammered with this is the end. And we'd already lived through that, as you already kind of pointed out with The Wind Rises, right? But like you were just being told like
right.
Grandpa's
Miyazaki, the
old.
master,
like
the auteur,
like
is his final film.
Academy Award winner.
It was, and you would see these things, and again, it sort of leaked out the changes, like even the stuff with the title, and you're like, The Boy and the Heron, huh? And you see this film, and Jacob leaving the theater when I went home and explained to my father, who decided to do chores or something else instead of seeing this thing, said, "Did you like it?" I gave him an answer where I said, I'm just left feeling very melancholy, and it's such a heady experience, and it's really going to dwell on me for a couple days. And you wanted the promise of that ad campaign to be like, Miyazaki goes out with a triumph, it's this winning, like he just leaves you like summing up like how he made you feel your whole life from when he like made these movies where you were like this little kid with Totoro up to like he blended 2D and 3D with Princess Mononoke. Like he's lived it all, like the whole course of history, and here's the final bow, congratulations. And it's this movie where it's like it's a kid who says like, I can't inherit the future because I also have malice in my heart. And you're just like, oh no. And like, you just like, you just like start crying. It's like, this film is so upsetting, dogs. And it's for that to be what he wants his final statement to be. And this is a film where clearly he's like, every idea is there. Like, as I said, he literally just has a moment where he's like, here's a book I recommend to you. Like, you guys just got to live with this. It's like, you just have to understand, like, I'm just like pouring my soul out in my final work. That it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. If you saw like the ad campaigns and stuff when it was coming out, it sort of was advertising a different movie. This is a much more complex and sort of thorny, difficult movie. And yeah, so it's not like it's not like, Kiki's delivery service where you're just going to enjoy it, Totally agree with that.
My big revelation on the second viewing, this has more in common with an Andrei Tarkovsky film. This is essentially a remake of Stalker. Like at the end, like what the twist is where the man's like, and this is this thing that's like making all this happen. You're like, what? Like it doesn't like it's like it doesn't need to be there, but he's like giving you this sort of thing to be like, you could have that if you want that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also,
and again, I think sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the contrast to release, because we had this weird ad campaign, and in Japan they had one poster and they just shadow dropped it. There was no lead up or anything. It was just that hand painted poster, and they just released the movie. And like, here it is.
Yeah, here it's like, from the mind of Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle. Like, it's it's going to be this grand magnum opus of his career, and in some ways it is, but it's also a much more personal and just a personal story for him that people maybe weren't expecting. I think if you watch some of these documentaries about Miyazaki, where you see him in his day-to-day life and you see him kind of ruminating all the different things that he's thinking, you really get a different idea of him as a person. where he does seem to have a lot of cynical thoughts about life and about modern, 21st century, the world we're leaving behind, as his thoughts on as he gets older and being like, what kind of world are we leaving behind for our children and stuff like that. That's why I really suggest, if you ever want to see these documentaries, like the Kingdom of what is it, the Kingdom of Madness and Dreams of Madness. It's really illuminating on his personality and just what an interesting person he is, and I think that comes across in this movie for sure.
Well, yeah, the famous meme anime was a mistake. He's like, what has this industry become where it's just like fan service and like, of kind of fast fashion of animation. Like he's kind of disgusted by that aspect of things.
Yeah, I always think of the meme that I mentioned before of it's like him and Junji Ito, where Junji Ito makes these dark, disturbing images and stuff in his work, and then he's like just this very nice like guy in real
Jolly
life.
guy.
And then you have Miyazaki, who makes, My Neighbor Totoro, and then it's like, outside smoking a cigarette, like, what kind of life are we leaving behind for our children? Like war and all this stuff. Like, so it's very interesting, the dichotomy between those two guys.
Well, the flip side of that too is the Miyazaki who makes Dark Souls, and he's a jolly guy too. So it's like inside of us there are two Miyazakis, just which one do you feed?
I was thinking about Dark Souls a lot while watching this movie, Mike.
Wow.
That there's like grassy little islands where you're alone, where the only thing in front of you is just like a golden gate, and where you're just like, oh, well, if I open that thing, like something horrible is gonna happen. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know.
And you're doing a bow only challenge run on top of that. Like, come on.
It sucks. Yeah, I've got this fucking magic bow and arrow. This sucks.
Expect into it. But Miyazaki did say that part of his inspiration to make this was he wanted to make a movie for his grandson too. So it's like so much like this is what you wanted him to watch, and what does that mean? So there's a lot to unpack for sure.
Let me ask you guys this. I think, and we've talked about this before, there's all these tropes of sort of like the Miyazaki protagonist, right? Which is usually like a young lady, and this film certainly goes against that, but it also has young lady relationships sort of like interwoven in multiple ways, right? But I also think something we kind of haven't talked about is that there is in pretty much all of his films a Miyazaki self-insert. And I think that the most cynical we've ever gotten before, I think his self-insert is the priest in Princess Mononoke, the Billy Bob Thornton character, who's the kind of guy who's like, what does it all matter? Like, just play both sides, and stuff like that, right? And I think his most flattering self-insert is that he is Porco Rosso. Like, he is like,
oh, right,
fuck all this. Like, I kind of want to burn it down. Like, that's him sort of like taking on the anime industry, right?
Yeah.
I think the self-insert character in this movie is the grand uncle, who's like this guy at the end who's like, I've made this thing, and like I've controlled it, and like it's become this other thing, and I don't know what to do, and this world has sucked in all these people, and it's grown beyond this thing. What do I do? And do I pass it to you, young person? Do you even want this? And the young person's like, I don't know.
So that's his grandson. Take it over. What?
He is both the grand uncle and the boy.
I kind of think that too.
Yeah. But he is saying like, I'm leaving you this world, like, oh, but these blocks all are infused with malice or whatever, right? So we need blocks that don't have malice. We need to build a world of peace and beauty. Again, getting
out of my head with a rock earlier. So like, I'm messed up, man. Do you know that, man?
And like, he's the grand uncle. He is Hal, right? And Hal's Moving Castle is kind of his self-insert as well. So
it's very bipolar and like upset and like confused. Yeah.
And there is definitely this him as the grand uncle. He's an older man now at the end of his career, looking back upon his childhood, where he came from, and it's like it's definitely unpacking a lot of that too, and like even dealing with loss. He's like he has to grieve giving up animation and giving up Ghibli, and like who's going to take this over. And there was a couple people in line who have died, like his
Goro,
coworkers.
my son.
Goro.
Goro's not getting it. Right. So
Goro.
Yeah.
yeah.
Goro's nothing to me.
And he has said, some of the relationships in this movie represent relationships to his professional relationships with his two closest professional relationships, Isao Takahata and Toshio Suzuki, who I've mentioned before. So Toshio Suzuki is the producer who's worked with him his whole career, and the Heron is supposed to represent Suzuki, and then Isao Takahata is the other director that worked with Ghibli. I think he passed away somewhat recently, and he was sort of a mentor figure to Miyazaki, and so the grand uncle is partially supposed to represent his relationship with
He was
Takahata.
sort of a parakeet king, you could say.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I guess I love this. I didn't know that. That's great.
It's so deep, yeah. If you get into like the professional relationships, like Jacob said, he's dealing with a lot more stuff than you think on the surface.
Yeah.
And again, we're still just kind of just calling out like general things, but
Yeah.
again, we're talking about surrealism. And you said this is the film closest to Spirited Away. I gave my whole speech during The Wind Rises about gentle surrealism, but I'll reiterate what I think surrealism is the merger of dreams coming into the reality, right? In imagery, right?
A kingdom of dreams and madness, you might say.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're putting them together. And this film is obviously surreal. At one point, the dimension they go to is called the Land of the Dead. I don't know that I believe that as much, that it truly just seems to be like the dreaming, like it is just sort of the dreaming world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I don't know, it again, like with surrealism, one of my favorite artists is David Lynch, a true bona fide surrealist. And when you give over to those people and you say things like, okay, like, is he just being weird? Like, are some of the pictures just weird for the sake of weird? And when you like them and when they are good artists, you put trust into the fact of, no, they have an answer. Or literally the answer can just be, this made me feel a certain way, so I included this. So do I understand when Miyazaki has the woman blow the whistle, in the fire whip around them, it creates a thing of smoke, and she does a prayer, and she says, okay, we're good now? Do I have to understand truly what that means in the context of this film? No, not at all. Do I trust that means something to Hayao Miyazaki? 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly how you should look at it, because with like someone like David Lynch, where you think, well, if you try to prescribe literal meaning to everything within the film, it's not gonna be able to do it, because it's art, it's evocative. It's evocative of a mood or a feeling.
Yes.
So not everything has literal meaning. So like with this, like I said, the grand uncle represents Miyazaki's relationship to Takahata, but it also represents Miyazaki himself looking back on his life. So it could mean multiple things, and not everything is going to have a one-to-one. This means this. It's an analogy. It's more of a general feeling. And I think it's a very personal film to Miyazaki. So there's no way we could understand it all without being inside of his head, right? So
that's why I really like it.
It almost feels like it's not for us, right?
No, and I'm like, he's letting me see over the fence, and I'm like, whoa, what's over there? That's crazy. And he's like, you don't even know, dog. It's nuts over here.
And then he just looks straight into the camera and says, "How do you live?"
How do you live, dog?
And David Lynch is such an interesting comparison, because he's such a singular artist, and of course, there's been many imitators of David Lynch. But a lot of people don't understand, like, these imitators pale in comparison to David Lynch, because they're trying to sort of ape what he did, but it's not him. So it's like you're not totally understanding what he's going for. And David Lynch, I love him because he was such a great guy. He would, they would ask him in interviews like, "Can you explain what this means in this movie?" And he'd just be like, "No, I mean, the movie is like, people always want me to talk about the movie. The movie is the talking."
Is he the American Miyazaki, just smoking cigs, being grumpy about shit?
There's
basically
there's something about nihilists that smoke cigarettes and what they choose to show us that is fascinating, Mike.
Yeah.
And they both have sort of an obsession with an earlier time, a more simple time.
It used to be
David
good.
Lynch's Americana.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I will
So
say, after watching this for the first time, because of that, the surrealism and how personal it is for him, and like it's not for us. Like initially, I was like, I don't know if that was like for me, dog. Like I felt kind of mixed on it, and then I watched it a second time and sitting with it over the past 2 days. It's growing on me, even though there are things that I don't know what the fuck it means, but I like
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I will say, like, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about our rankings and everything at the end, but it's not my favorite Miyazaki film. I think it's a very interesting film. It's not my I didn't connect with it as much as some more perhaps easier to connect with movies in his career. So it's a more difficult film, and that's what I felt when I first saw it in theaters. I thought, I mean, the animation, of course, is beautiful, like always. It's very imaginative. I appreciate all the symbolism and everything, but I didn't totally connect with it in the same way. And I think watching it a second time, I am getting a deeper understanding of it. It's still not going to crack my top films of him, but again, it's like when you have all bangers, it's hard to rank them in
Yeah.
order, right? So
I like that it's difficult. It's the end boss of Miyazaki, media. Like you got to defeat it somehow. Like you have to chew on it.
Think
Right.
you know me?
Yeah, really.
Yes, I don't. Yeah, I don't know, man.
And it's so
Yeah,
interesting to talk about it in the context of The Wind Rises and now this, because The Wind Rises is maybe his most literal and his least magical film, in that there's no there's
Just the
dream
dreams.
sequences in the movie, but it's more of a straightforward biopic about a guy, and it doesn't have that spirituality that a lot of his films have. So to go from a more literal biopic to maybe his most abstract and spiritual movie is very interesting, but they both sort of represent the culmination of his career again. So just a fascinating guy and a fascinating career.
Yeah, and this film does have a lot of stillness. They all do, but like when I watched it the second time, I'm like, there's long stretches without dialogue where you're just kind of seeing the characters inhabit a space, and like he'll be making his little crafts and stuff, and you're just kind of like sitting in their mindset, in Mahito's mindset for a lot of this.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed on this watching, especially, like it takes him a while before he even starts his sort of adventure that he goes on. Whereas comparing to Spirited Away, where it pretty much you see a little bit of I can't even remember her name, the main character in
Sen?
Spirited Away,
Chihiro.
Sen, Chihiro. You see a little bit with her parents, and then pretty much immediately she's whisked away into this magical world where she has to figure things out. She gets separated from her parents. They turn into pigs and all that. This movie, it's like half an hour to 45 minutes of Mahito moving to this, rural estate, having to, try to live this new life and meeting this Heron. All this stuff kind of happens on the estate before he even goes into the magical adventure type of stuff.
Yo, dogs, this is a 2-hour long movie. 30 minutes is when things really start to get serious with the Heron. An hour and 56 minutes in, really, is when he meets the spirit world and, gets on the raft with the woman. 25 minutes after that is when we really get serious with Princess Hime. It's a 2-hour, she is in the last 30 minutes of this film, basically.
Right.
Yeah,
so
we get Grand Uncle for 5 minutes.
Happen until the second half of the movie with the Parakeet Empire and all this, the war.
But I like that distinction though, because I like the first half. I like this whole movie, but I like the first half how slow and like personal it is. Like he's in the carriage with Natsuko, and she's like, "I'm gonna be your mom now," and then he's like, "The fuck? Like this is my new house," and like. He just doesn't want anything to do with it, right? And he's like going and running around in the woods and just trying to do whatever because like fuck off because he's just not into it. Like I like this whole stretch of him adjusting, going to school, etc.
And it is slow to get into it where you're like, okay, what's the draw of this movie? So like, he's adjusting to this new life and he's really not coping with it too well. He gets bullied at school and then he like intentionally injures himself on the head. And he meets this Heron that's like talking to him. He doesn't know how to feel
after
about
he
that.
gives himself brain trauma. Then the Heron starts talking.
Very true. To really rewind to get a reaction to sort of the death in the fire real quick. This opening
is crazy.
Mahito, who he is. we saw that he wanted to help during this, and his father was constantly stay here, but his sort of movement, his desire to take action and running to caused him to basically see the loss of the life of his mother, right? That this building was completely gone. He imagines this voice of her screaming out. He's constantly haunted by this. He bashes his brains in because he is suicidal. And they can't really say that, right? But this is a young kid who is dealing with, you know, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and has nothing
really,
to do. Yeah,
he has a lot of feelings. He really needs therapy, probably, but back in the 1950s, where they probably weren't doing that so much.
The dad
they're still not doing therapy.
I figured it out. We'll move to the country and I'll bang your mom's sister. And by the way, you're having a brother. And Maito's like, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, and I
see solution to get out of this. Yeah.
No, and I see some of this too. Is like Miyazaki maybe being like, all right, he didn't get along with anybody at school. Miyazaki's like, I'm not getting along with my peers in the animation community, and I wish to fucking die. And I rip cigs all like I do self-harm because I hate this shit that I'm dealing with, right?
Get me out
and also his relationship with his father, where his father seems like he's trying to help, but he's also like very busy at his work, so it's like he doesn't have a lot of time for his family. So basically Mahito has to move to this house where he doesn't know anyone. There's all these like old ladies that work for his new stepmom, and he's like, this is I don't like this. And his dad is barely there because he's working all the time. And he's just like, man, my life kind of fucking sucks. He goes to this new school. He's getting bullied. He's trying to fit in. And then he's walking around this estate. He meets some asshole Heron who keeps telling him to like come with me or whatever. And he, he's sick of it. I don't know.
Right. Yes, he's getting beckoned by this Heron to hassle him. Like once he's recovering from the head wound, the Heron's bugging him, and then he has a dream where all the frogs and stuff are they're like, come join us. The Heron's beckoning him, and all these creatures are kind of crawling on him to like spirit him away, essentially, to borrow that movie's title. And then Natsuko saves him with a bow and arrow and like a whistling arrow in the dream, and then he has an idea to make his own bow and arrow, and I like that. It's like he's getting inspired to create from his dreaming. Like that's what an artist does. He has a dream and then takes action to manifest something in the real world.
And I like how his first thought is like, I need to shoot this Heron with an arrow.
He has malice.
Bow and arrow.
It is you don't really understand maybe culturally what the omen necessarily means when he's first getting the house tour, and it comes through the house, and Natsuko, his stepmom slash auntie.
But we don't know she's his aunt until the end, right? Because at first he says, "My dad like married this new woman. She looks just like my mom," right? That's like
that's a twist.
I think it's a twist.
It's not explicitly.
We don't know
stated
that Hime is his mom until the end, basically.
Well, Hime, but Natsuko.
But I don't think it's necessarily stated that she's his mom's sister until later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that might be true, honestly.
Yeah.
But regardless, once you have that piece of information, it's but that's not. I don't think revealed it at the start. But anyway.
Well, also spoiler alert. I did see an article from a film website I like a lot that completely misunderstood who Princess Hime is at the end.
Oh, really?
Said that it's the aunt. I was like, no, that's not what she's saying at all. At the end,
he's trying to
at all.
Yeah, because the aunt goes missing. Basically, there's this old tower on the property that's like very mysterious, and all the old ladies that work for his aunt are like, "Don't go in there. There's like some weird stuff going on there. We had, granduncle went in there once, and all this stuff. It's kind of mysterious, but just stay away from there. Like you don't want any part of this." And so, of course, he goes sort of exploring in there, and then Natsuko goes missing, and she goes into the tower, and so then everyone's kind of looking for her.
She's having her baby,
right?
Yeah,
and can I? Yeah. Yep. And so while he's running around doing his stuff, he's building his bow and arrow, he's bartering with his cigarettes, and I want to point out though, he has this knife. I like to have a prop, right? This little thing here. I'm going to show you guys something. Does this look like?
There it is.
Anything similar? So this is a Higo no Kami knife, and they've been produced since the 1890s. And in
Wow.
1911, the company that made them was the only one with the patent to make these, and they were very cheap, like pocket knives that would be widely available in Japan. And the fact that it's like heavily featured, he's always using it to make his arrows and whittle down stuff for the
Yeah.
Heron. Like this is something Miyazaki like had, and they still make
For
them to this
sure,
day.
yeah.
So just shout out. I just like that
Yeah,
detail.
I definitely imagine that Miyazaki's childhood was very much like Mahito's. And yeah, he's making this arrow and he's using the feather of the heron to make this arrow, which is important, becomes important later that he's using this specific feather, right?
Yeah, and I like just the creativity because this would be a hobbyist knife, and he's making stuff. Like he's an artist. He creates things. He finds a way to make glue out of rice. Like I like the sequence of him problem solving. You know, he doesn't want the bow from the grandma. He wants to make it. He wants to make his own
Right.
art, right? Like I think that's kind of part of it too.
And he's a resourceful kid because I wouldn't know how
Yeah.
to do that. I wouldn't know how to make my own bow.
No, and I think when you're
So
running around in the backyard of 1940s Japan, you know, that's what you got up to as a kid. You'd be tinkering, you'd have your little pocket knife. That's how you sharpen your school pencils. Like every kid grew up with that knife. Like it's a part of kind
And
of
he's
childhood.
rich. He's
Yeah.
loaded, so they're getting canned beef with rice.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, Mike, that they're like, oh my God, canned
because
beef.
it's also rationing from the war and everything.
Correct.
So if you can afford
real
certain
sugar.
things, yeah,
We got real white sugar, she says. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and he, like you said, he's bartering with the cigarettes and everything. And I like all these, there's all these old lady characters that work on this estate, and again, that's such a Miyazaki trope to have these like wise old women characters in his film. Like again, like with Ponyo, you had the women in the assisted
The-
living facility that his mom works at.
Yep. And some of these
Yeah, that's
women are
right.
kind of have designs that kind of reference some of those characters, like the lady from I forget the one, the big
Spirited
witch lady,
Away.
Yubaba.
Mama Baba.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, we're getting that
Um,
he's a resourceful young man, and I like that stuff because it's like this just feels that's like the most this is our slice of life segment, and it just feels very grounded. I was thinking Miyazaki, even though it's surreal, like Miyazaki doesn't make animated movies; he makes movies. Like he's not doing background art; he's doing production design. Like I feel the suspension of
go.
disbelief so strongly, even though it's animated. It just blows my mind. So I wanted to underpin that a little bit.
Yeah. Now with this Heron character, the Heron is an interesting character within The Boy and the Heron.
What is he? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on here? And as we see, it's not really, I mean, the Heron, there's the Heron, but then there's the guy inside of the Heron that starts coming out because you see that he has teeth within his beak and his face.
His nose. Yeah, it's
So-
very gross.
Wikipedia describes them as a separate people. So let me see if I can find it. Birdman and the gray heron. Birdman is a flightless creature that lives inside the gray heron.
Okay.
Do you agree with that in your opinion?
No.
I thought it was almost like a disguise that he puts on
Yes.
because
I think it's
as
just
the
magic.
guy comes out,
Yeah.
he's some sort of magic heron man.
I think he is a heron. But let me ask you guys this, because Jacob, you saying he's based on this sort of like lasting relationship of Miyazaki's. I do want to point out to you guys, question for you. We see everyone else that leaves the time door, aka the tower, and I'm getting into end game spoiler territory
Right.
here, but reverts to their natural form. The parakeets do not stay monstrous parakeets, they turn to parakeets.
Right.
Why is the heron a Loki-esque, Puck sort of trickster character able to exist outside of the tower? At the end, when they get out of there and it all collapses, he goes, "Hey, that went great. See you around, friend." And he transforms back and flies away. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, what's that? You're just still a dude?
Yeah.
What is this? How are you able to do this?
I don't
What
really
is-
know.
Yeah.
And again, he does
does he
remind me
represent?
of
I have an
in
idea.
Princess Mononoke. He reminds me of the Billy Bob Thornton character, and then he's sort of this little trickster guy who's he befriends the main character, but you don't know really what his motives are. He might have ulterior motives, and he's not just like a nice guy. He's at first he's sort of antagonistic towards Mahito. At one point, he gets shot with the arrow through his beak, and so he has like a hole in his beak, and which caused him to not be able to fly, I guess. And Mahito eventually will help him sort of plug that hole with a piece of wood that he carves and stuff. And even then he's like, all right, see you later, I'm out of here.
He puts out these rules. There are these things, and he later says, is this a lie that you're saying? But he says only the person who breaks it can plug the wound, and that's what will return my flight. I ask you this because is the Heron Mahito? Like, is that just what he is, in the same way that when you go to this sort of tower or other world and your true self comes out, you become the fire princess, you become the parakeet king or whatever? Is Mahito stuck in some sort of Jekyll and Hyde where he is manifesting his depression as the great Heron?
Because it is
maybe
taunting him to like, I can know where your mother is, right? And he obviously knows it.
Your mother's gone. I could make another image. And that to me is straight up just him saying, like, that is an argument that Miyazaki is having with himself right there. Just to talk about that scene real quick.
Yeah.
Go inside.
Yeah.
We're so out of order here. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
So he tells
us to it. Yeah.
He tells Mahito, come with me if you want to see your mother or whatever. Like, I've got, you can come see your mother again. And he's like, so that's what Mahito gets Mahito to start going into the tower. And this is also after his stepmom kind of went off and went in the tower. So everyone's kind of looking for.
There's a language trick there where you're supposed to think, come with me if you want to see your mother. Is he leading him towards the stepmother, like retrieving, this sort of lost person? And of course, what we get instead is this figure of his dead mother on a chaise, turned
lying
around
on a couch.
He touches her.
Yeah,
she melts into.
She's like
water.
Made of wax. Yeah, she's like starts melting. And he's like, wasn't that a good like trick that I did? Like, I made this image of your mother.
He says, I could make you another one. Yes. And then when he gets furious and says, don't ever do that again, the Heron pulls his chest out and says, then stab me in the heart. Stab me in the heart and get rid of this part of yourself or whatever, right? Like, isn't that so Miyazaki saying, like, the two halves of him fighting of, like, you have to make art that honors your dead mother, and the half of him that goes, no, mother is this saintly, untouched figure that we could never spoil by making art, right? Like, it's these two things clashing against each other.
It's definitely those two opposing forces almost of, what will you create? Like I said, he kind of an artist making stuff. I've seen it posited too, that this is like his relationship with like producers and distributors, where it's like they are not artists. They can't make art. He can make a facsimile of the mom, but it's not really, that's not art. That's not the real deal. But they're motivators of him. Even though he knows it's a trap, he has to go into it. Like, I hate dealing with producers, maybe. I know it's going to be bullshit, but I kind of got to go anyway. Like, so I've seen that kind of posited too, that it's this conflict of the artistic integrity, maybe.
But so this is when, so after that is when he punctures the beak with his arrow. And that's when we sort of see the Birdman that lives inside the Heron come out.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, now I can't fly. And then we see Granduncle for the first time. And he's basically like, hey, you got to be his guide in the dream world or wherever they're going. And then they sink into the floor. And then that's sort of.
Yeah.
They sing. Also, the Kiriko, who's the old lady, one of the old ladies.
Yes, she's with him.
Also follows him into the tower, so she kind of gets involved, and then she's like, they all sink into the floor and end up in this crazy adventure.
But she specifically says, I cannot hear the voice of the Grand Master, for I do not carry his bloodline. And we're already starting this whole thing about how you have to be related for this thing to be occurring.
Right.
That's right. And that'll come into play later for sure. It reminds me of Nausicaa, how, again, it's set up in his early movies where you fall through the one layer to the lower layer and there's a whole nother world beneath, right? Like, we've been seeing this the entire career, but we're just, in the latest flavor of it.
And we're also sort of told about how back before all this, there was a mysterious asteroid or rock or something that landed on the estate that had like magical properties. And the Granduncle at the time was like obsessed with it. So that's how he built the tower around it. And it's like this mysterious thing.
You forget, and then at the end, he's literally like, have you seen my giant meteorite? And you're like, oh, right, I guess so.
Yeah.
He's also
a big meteorite. It's not a metaphor. We live in the meteor portal. Don't worry about any of it. Like, oh shit.
That's true. But then they also bring up when he built that tower, a lot of people died. It was kind of fucking crazy, kind of fucked up. So like, what does that mean? Like, at what cost is your art created? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I love these flashback scenes where you see the granduncle, but like his face is like you only see like a silhouette, like an outline of him in these when they're building the tower and stuff. Very cool
firework going off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of our arc here is going to be as Mahito encounters these forces, these people on this journey. They'll ask, he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for Natsuko." And they're like, "Oh, is she important to you?" And he's like, "Not really, but my dad likes her, so I'm looking for her." Like he's getting to this place where maybe he will accept her, but it starts out very opposed
to every person.
Yeah.
His relationship with Natsuko, and she's like, "Well, I need to find her before I can go back. Like I can't come back without her, but I also don't know how I feel about her yet."
It's complicated.
My dad likes her, but I got to find her anyway. Yeah.
Now, this is a young kid who you imagine has barely met this woman because of how difficult travel was back in the day. Now, I love my Aunt Mickey, who is my mom's sister. She's like my favorite family member. If my dad had married her after my mom died, I would have fucking killed them both, dog.
Right.
Like, this is like,
I think this is sort of
a crazy territory.
This is sort of more old-fashioned thing where they did used to do that, I think. Back in those days, because it's like, well, yeah, you were married to the sister. Well, he died, so we might as well marry the other sister
keep it in the
bloodlines.
Yeah. That's true. And he sneaks out and he sees him smooching, and he's like, "Oh, I feel some type of way about it." Like clearly, that's what he's working on.
When you say old timey, you mean back in Targaryen times, right, Jacob?
Yeah.
I was thinking about Game of Thrones because in Game of Thrones, when Catelyn Tully marries Ned Stark, right? But she was originally betrothed to his older brother, Brandon Stark, who then died, who was killed by Aerys Targaryen. So that was because they made marriage pacts to form alliances between houses. So if the one brother died, you would just marry the other brother.
But doesn't she say that she's happy about that because she thinks Ned would have been nicer, right? Isn't that in the show?
Yeah. Well, he was kind of the quiet little brother. Brandon was like a kind of crazy fighter kind of guy, and Ned Stark was like the quiet little brother of the Stark of that generation of Starks. Yeah. But the boy and the heron. So they sink into the floor, and Mahito ends up on this boat that's sort of being sailed by.
He ends up in that grassy, dark
he gets
Souls
attacked
world,
by pelicans. Yeah,
and when he sees a gate, and the pelicans want him to open the gate because on the other side they can eat. And when he's asked what, they say they eat the, what do they call it?
Oh,
the
Warawara,
which are like the bad
little spirits. Well, no, these
they're
are
good
spirits that are born, and then they get born into our world. So basically, they're like
people.
They're like people. Like to me, they're like people's souls before they're born or whatever. And then when they're born into the bodies of the real world.
Yeah.
Well, the pelicans should not be eating those.
No, and
Willem Dafoe explains, we were brought here by the great uncle with no food. Like we can't eat anything else. We didn't want to be here. We just kind of are.
Again, have you guys seen Stalker?
No.
Yes.
It's such a weird, Mike. There's this thing called the zone in the movie, which is sort of, if you've seen Annihilation.
Yeah. And I'm familiar with the games that were based on Stalker.
Yeah, there's the Stalker game.
So I do know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Less
very Eastern European kind of thing.
But there's an anomalous zone.
That a alien thing has happened to a place, and now it is affecting that place and anything that gets into it. Like the idea that this guy thinks he's in charge, that he's like, "Oh shit, I keep letting birds in," is very funny. That they're like, "No, we're stuck in this endless hell where we mutated. We lived these generations. We've been here for like eons." Or whatever. He's like, "Oh god damn it! Like I let a squirrel got in with me.
I brought a parakeet. Now it's a king." Third generation.
That sucks.
That's crazy, yeah.
But the Warawara are interesting too, because of course, if there's one thing Miyazaki's going to do, it's put some little guys in his movie, right?
Very Mononoke,
putting little spirit guys. Yeah, Mononoke. They're little Just little spirit guys. Just like what are those guys called in Mononoke that like shake their heads and stuff?
I
Yeah.
Can't remember their names either, but yeah, those little guys.
But we love some little guys. And we meet Kiriko in younger form. So you remember Kiriko was the old lady that went with him and sunk into the floor.
But we don't know this yet.
I didn't realize this, the first time.
Yeah.
But
when
we realized it at the end.
When are you supposed to realize it?
Yeah,
because obviously with the mom, she flat out says like, "I am your mom. I will become your mom," and the kid's like, "Oh, that's crazy," and she's like, "It is." But when does this woman say, "By the way,
her name is
I was the
Kiriko.
old"? Right, I guess that's you just are supposed to.
Yeah, and later when they go back to her house, right, she has the little dolls that represent the old ladies at the house.
Well, really the only answer we get is the one time we jump back into the real world, why this whole adventure is going on with Christian Bale as the dad. We get the old people being like, "It's crazy that your new wife's still gone and that your son's gone too." This reminds us when we were kids, you know, your wife disappeared and actually the old lady that's with your son was the woman who went out and looked for her, and they both disappeared, you know, for some time. But then she came back mysteriously a year later, and she had no memory.
That's right. That's right.
So we're supposed to learn that Princess Hime spent a year in this fucking world. So how long what is this one? What is the maid's name?
Kiriko.
Yeah. So how long was Kiriko in it?
I don't know, because basically, so she has a boat, right? And she's sailing the boat. They go back to her house.
She understands.
Like, I've lived here.
She understands the mechanics.
Yes, it's like you said. She's like, yes, this is my home. And again, you don't carry your memories over between these worlds. They make pretty clear at the end. But again, you're sort of still like, but what is time to you? What is your whole life here?
Right. Is this all playing out the way they remembered it playing out? Like, did his mom meet him the first time? Like, is this the same loop? Like, Kiriko, they only leave at the very end of the movie, and it's the same year in their timeline, because they got to go through different doors. So maybe the time doesn't matter inside of this realm, right?
Right. Yeah. It is a
That's
timeless
my guess.
World outside of the time
That's what
corridor,
I would think of.
Which the great uncle later says, run to the time corridor.
The mechanics are kind of tricky.
That's good. That's good.
Of course, at one point they go out of this door, and Maito's father sees him, and it says Maito. It starts running towards him. All these parakeets start coming out, and all that stuff happens. But to get not to get ahead of ourselves too much, because basically, so he's with Kiriko on the boat. She's fishing for like this giant fish, right? And then she takes him back to his house. They kind of cut up the fish and stuff. And
we need to feed the Warawara so they can
so they can ascend into the real world. He's also like, okay, where's your bathroom? Oh, it's out back. That's when he has the scene with the old dying pelican who's like, look, it's not our fault. Like, we were brought here and we have no other food.
The Warawara, but oh god, I didn't even watching in the Japanese. I immediately remembered. I was like, I know that's Willem Dafoe in the English. He's so crazy.
Yeah, and the English cast is great. I mean, well, Christian Bale, of course, as you remember, also played Howl in Howl's Moving Castle in the English version of this.
We're getting two Batmen in this movie, Mike.
I know,
and the Joker,
Batman maxing, and a Joker.
The Joker, Grand Uncle. Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Yeah.
Oh, at the end,
nice work.
Mark Hamill. I didn't remember.
Yeah, the Grand Uncle is Mark Hamill.
I blew it.
Real quick,
Luke Skywalker blew it.
There's a Christian Bale line I noticed in the Japanese one. They're like, after he gets beat up at school and hits himself with a rock, and he says, I just fell down, and his dad doesn't believe him. In the Japanese one, they're like, oh, don't worry, I'll make sure that you're avenged. But in the American one, he's like, I will be sure you have vengeance. And I'm like, they rewrote that for Christian Bale, so you could say the word vengeance, right? Like,
I am vengeance.
He's not saying avenge. He's not an avenger.
You will have vengeance.
Batman.
Yeah.
Anyway. Right. But yeah, you have Robert Pattinson. You have Christian Bale too.
Doing the craziest performance, Robert Pattinson.
Yes, Robert Pattinson. As I do wish I had seen the Japanese language, so I know what the Japanese Heron sounds like in comparison.
It's like a guy.
Is that a dude who's fucking crazy, Maito?
They're going for a little bit, but
that is your take?
Yeah.
But he was probably having a lot of fun with that role. And And you have Kiriko is Florence Pugh is the young
Yes.
Kiriko.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
And Lady Hime is Karen Fukuhara from The Boys.
Oh, no.
Her
Heck
favorite,
yeah.
formerly mute character.
Favorite speaking role haver.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
We'll get there eventually. But it's a real this is a good 6 Degrees of Separation movie, the cast of it. Anyway, and when William Dafoe shows up to that pelican, I just keep thinking, it's bad luck to kill a seabird. That's all I could think about.
But we're
we get a Lighthouse reunion.
Pattinson, Mike. That's
Robert
Pattinson, that's right. And we're getting, with this boating life, we're getting the paddling where they're going past, and she's saying, this is the land of the dead. Like, she's saying that directly. Those are the souls of the people. She's saying the Warawara. We're seeing Princess Hime passing in the prayer form, and she's calling out to her, saying, thank you for doing what you do, because she's, like, cleansing the Warawara, right?
And she has like fire powers, right? And so she has some sort of pyrokinetic powers, but she also, we know that she died in a fire, so that could have some kind of
it's like her whole this I don't even know what this is. This is some sort of like justification that like Miyazaki's doing in his mind, where he's like, it's fated. Like her whole life is fire. And at the end, like when he's directly saying like, do not die in a fire to her, and she says like, I just can't wait to be your mom. Like, and that's what it is.
She's
like,
accepted her fate.
Exactly. Like Miyazaki's justifying in his mind, like, my mother was supposed to die, and this is the reason why. And it's the one thing that I don't buy in this movie, but it seems like what he needs. And I'm like, if you're still telling yourself that at 85, baby, you go right ahead. You live your life. That's 100% fine, dude. I don't know.
There is something interesting with the fire being what killed her, and then she has fire powers. Even Kiriko has fire, and they use fire for protection in several cases. Yeah, so
it's like the main Mike, to go back to Dark Souls, it's like the main, it's pyromancy.
Yeah.
It's like the main defensive holy art in this dream world for some reason is fire. And I don't know why, other than it's so personal to Miyazaki.
It's a cleansing flame.
Yeah, and so according to what I'm reading here, basically Miyazaki's mother basically evokes the personal parallels with Miyazaki's loss of his mother, who is known for her strong opinions and is believed to have been a source of inspiration for several of the director's female characters. Mahito's emotional connection with his mother parallels Miyazaki's love for his mother.
So it's a fiery personality. She's a firecracker.
I don't know how she died exactly, except that she died when he was young, like Mahito.
Was she sick?
No. I figured like the Totoro maybe mother metaphor was closer. Maybe she was just sick.
Yeah.
But
it could be.
The wind rises.
That's right. But the fire here obviously is his anti-war thing, because it's like that's the firebombing of Tokyo, so he's got to be like, war fucking just fucks people up.
Right. It's his feeling growing up in post-World War II, where basically...
This is during the war.
A lot of his movie. Yeah, it's during the war, but like, Japan loses the war in like a very embarrassing way. That's like sort of embarrasses the national identity of Japan. I think that's what a lot of his movies are about too, where it's like the identity of Japan is about honor, is about, that's why they never surrendered until America dropped a couple bombs on them, and it was like, hey, look, because of their system of honor, where it's like we have to keep fighting even though it's a lost cause, essentially. And so they were embarrassed on a national scale. And after that, it's about rebuilding Japan. That's what, of course, our favorite movie, Godzilla -1 is about.
Correct.
So I think growing up in that time period and being a young boy, living through that, and then coming to have the views on war that Miyazaki has, I think that really informed his views of being like, yeah, war is like bad. Like we shouldn't be doing it. Like at
Well,
all.
to
Right.
go back to the like David Lynch comparison, Jacob, like when you said like the nostalgia for the time periods that they're both locked in, it's so interesting that David Lynch's is the post World War II 1950s red fire
Yeah.
trucks with soldiers going like,
Americana.
"We did it, buckaroos!"
Yeah.
Like we won the war, and Miyazaki's
Yeah.
is like, "We lost that war, and here's the
Right.
other side."
Two sides of the same
Right.
coin for real, like what they're locked in on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
something else I wanted to read about. So Maito, where was it? Miyazaki intended to differentiate Maito from the joyful and optimistic protagonists of his previous film, as he felt that, quote, boys are actually less pure and swirling with all kinds of things.
Evil.
yeah,
So you can
evil,
see here
namely.
He's
to
right.
compare to a lot of his young female protagonists that he's known for, Maito is a much darker and like conflicted character in terms of like he's having a rough time.
I was thinking about that too, watching this too, is like he is like the only Miyazaki protagonist that is violent. Like he attacks the heron, he builds a bow and arrow to kill it. Like Ashitaka is a pacifist. He's like, please don't make me shoot you. Like, please don't make me fight.
Stop
But
fighting.
Mahito is a lot of anger, and like he's violent. He has violent
there's a lot of
tendencies and
anger.
instincts. Yeah, a lot of anger. And that's unique.
And Miyazaki also said he wanted this movie to be more, even though it is a coming of age about a young boy, it's more violent, like something like Princess Mononoke versus some of his more childlike movies like Spirited Away or Totoro or whatever. So it is more adult oriented.
He is the only one
theme.
waking up choosing violence, though. You know, like that is a distinction of Mahito.
Well,
I
and
choose
that's
violence.
it's
Yeah.
sort of
Mhm.
why I would have taken a title Mahito over The Boy and the Heron, because it's sort of disingenuous that they are the two-hander when really it is his relationship to every character. Like from here we literally go, he's on the boat, he's then with Princess Hime, then he's back with the heron, then he's with the parakeets, then he's with Granduncle, then it's the end, right? Like it's literally his revolving door relationship with these characters as they come and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the heron or the birdman does kind of guide him throughout the film, and his relationship to the heron changes because at first like the heron is very antagonistic towards him, and it's just like basically I'm trying to trick you this whole time, but he does seem to start to become friends with him over time and even saves him from the parakeets who are trying to basically eat Maito.
Yeah, right.
Because they're like, look,
He
we
says,
got to
"You are
eat
my
something.
friend."
We wouldn't
That's
eat
true.
your stepmom who's pregnant. We're not going to eat someone who's with child. That would be,
It's crazy.
savage.
Well-
But we're going to eat you because you're not pregnant.
Yeah, and we figure that part of this plot of why Natsuko has been spirited away is because she's pregnant. Old grand uncle's like, you're gonna have that baby, and then the baby can stay here and take over for me, because he needs someone who's related by
he
blood.
wants a successor that's related by blood, and
Correct.
that his pitch to Maito at the end is like, look, you could stay here and like build the tower your
And we'll
way
send them
and do it
back.
without malice. Yeah.
Oh, is he sort of kidnapped Nahiko?
Yeah, that's what I understand, is that he's so desperate for an heir. Yeah, that's part of the mechanic.
I guess so.
So the parakeets would also be forbade because he needs the heir, right? Like, so that kind of tracks.
Right. Even though the Parakeet King at the end is like, who cares about any of this?
Who cares? Which I have some thoughts on that too, but to circle back
That's
to
fair, my man.
yeah, you're gonna lose your whole kingdom.
Just make the tower, whatever.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I blew it.
Why did you have to use
Totally,
the
he
bomb
just
that thing?
Donald Trumps it there at the end. Watch, I can do it. Oh fuck!
Oh shit, I fucked it up really bad.
That's true.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Time to go.
Time to go. We
so-
get Mahito though slowly
Yes.
learning to kind of be of service to others, less angry. Like he's like, you got to carve the fish up. You got to do the chores. You got to help these guys. You know, you got to fix the beak of the heron because you did mess that up. Like he's finding ways to kind of make amends and like you said, these new relationships that he's kind of adapting into. He's kind of maturing, I
Well,
guess.
we've seen him obsess, Mike. Like literally the only thing he does since his mother dies is hit himself in the head with a rock and try to kill a bird. And you're like, why are you doing both those things? And now instead they're literally like, well, just live. And he's like, oh, right, I'll just live.
And he learns from the
And it's
Heron
that
about,
sad thing.
or not the Heron, the Pelican, about like, look, we don't want to be doing bad shit. Like he's learning to understand empathy and like the struggles of others, I guess.
Yes.
And to not just try to kill a bird
Seems
as your
like
sole
it,
purpose.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think like plot wise what happens next. Basically, we meet Hime, Princess Hime, Lady Hime, who is his mother, but is protecting the Warawara from the pelicans that are trying to eat them. And
Mike,
so
Hime means princess, right? So her name is Lady Princess.
Yeah, I believe so. Lady Princess. Yes,
That's
yes.
great.
Is it
I like
Hime?
that.
Yeah.
Hime, Hime, Hime.
It's Hime with an I,
H-I-M-I.
but that could be
Oh,
a
it's
play
Hime.
on word.
Oh.
It could be on
Yeah.
purpose, but yeah, Hime. Oh, well, he means fire in Japanese, and me means, I don't know the kanji in
so
front of me,
it's
but it's
Lady
fire
Fire.
related. And then Mahito means true person, like Hon Mahito. So he's becoming a true human being by the end of this anyway. So
Ah,
My
that's crazy.
And
Mahito.
Natsuko means little summer. I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's interesting.
Anyway, there you go.
Well, he ends up with Hime, so he kind of goes to Hime's house, and she feeds him some nice bread with jam on it, and he's like, "This is just like my mother used to make."
Oh,
And she's like,
interesting.
Yeah, no shit.
"Yeah, oh, Kiriko always liked when I make bread for her, or Natsuko."
My sister's here. She's gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get these clues, right? They infiltrate. They're like, okay, Natsuko is being held by the kingdom of the parakeets. We need to kind of go rescue here. So they kind of go into this castle that's has tons of parakeets and stuff. And there's the Parakeet King, of course, which, as we said, is Dave Bautista in the English version.
Mm-hmm.
We've
And again, I think
the Heron by this point. He's been plugged up. He's walking around.
yeah,
as a
and I
bird.
like when he plugs up, he's carving the little thing for his
Yeah.
beak, and then when he does it, he's like, "Well, so long, I just tricked you. I'm out of here, you loser." And he's like,
Right.
"Wait a minute, can you just adjust? It's a little."
It actually,
Yeah.
it actually doesn't feel right. And then he gives it back to him, and he's standing as the Birdman again. He goes, "Not too much though," and he goes,
Mhm.
"Okay," and he just keeps carving.
Again, I love that little
He's like,
knife.
"Hey, I'm
It's-
good now."
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You use it a lot. But even just his thought process, he's got his walking stick, and he's like, "Hey, I could use this." Like we're highlighting his kind of creative thinking and problem solving that is one of his attributes, the positive attributes of Mahito's character. So
Yeah, and so they're like, "Okay, whatever. Let's go save Natsuko from the parakeets." He goes in there, and he does get kind of captured by the parakeets, who are like, "Oh yeah, we've got Natsuko. Like, we're not going to hurt her because she's pregnant, but like, we are probably going to eat you because we want to. We're hungry."
yeah, and they capture Hime
She's
as well.
She's
Yeah.
in Natsuko's in the delivery room, and
Right.
later when Great Uncle is walking with the king, he says, "You really shouldn't have entered the delivery room." And and the Parakeet King goes, "I know, it was a great dishonor that we did that."
It's
Yeah.
a great dishonor.
Very
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, I think that I like the English language cast. It had to just be like people like, I really, I'd like to work with Miyazaki before.
But you're
he's-
Dave Bautista, and you're like, "What am I saying? I'm the Parakeet King."
Yeah,
It's very funny,
yeah,
actually. I
the
like his
Parakeet
line
King.
reads.
And Tony
pretty
Revolori
entertaining.
is going, "Oh shit, it's a human," or like whatever he says as
Yeah.
Parakeet number 6.
Right.
right. And I like the design of the Parakeet King. Like, I like his look, and he's kind of like
Love
the king of all the parakeets. He's got like these military like medals and stuff on him.
Little crown.
And he's
Mhm.
like, "Look, I'll fix everything. I'm gonna, And they have Natsuko in this like glass like coffin thing, right? And they're like marching.
He
That's
says
Hime.
something to the effect of
Hime.
the world isn't right anymore. And so we need new leadership, right? And then later, once you meet Great Uncle and he does his trick where he's like, "There, I did it. The world exists for one more day." And Maito's
Yeah.
like, "You have to do that. every single day. like
Right.
it's like dawning on him that he's like that like this whole universe is holding on by like the thread of a lunatic who's not doing it very well. You are like, no, the Parakeet King is correct. Like this all needs to be replaced and they need to leave this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and again, so and also Mahito does find Natsuko in the delivery room, but he goes up to her, and Natsuko's like, "You shouldn't like. What are you doing here? Like, you shouldn't be here. Like, you need
I
to
hate
go.
you or
Yeah,
something.
like
Yeah.
get the hell out of here." And then he starts getting attacked by like paper, right? And then that reminded me again of Spirited Away when they have all the little paper things. And then
Hime
saves
burns
him.
them.
Yes.
This scene I want to talk
So-
about a little bit more because, yeah, he goes up to her and she says, I hate you, I would never, whatever. And then he has this emotional reaction. It's like it hits him that he wants her
He calls
to
her
love
his
him.
mother, I think.
That's the first time he
Yeah.
calls her his mother, and he calls out to mother and he's running towards Natsuko. But then when we hard cut, he falls into the arms of Hime, which is like a very deliberate, I think, editing choice by Miyazaki. But in that moment when she rejects him, it hits him that he actually does want that motherly love and care from Natsuko. It's
this
huge.
is about a kid fighting over which mom he wants. Like, there's so much like Freudian stuff at play here. Like,
Yeah,
Miyazaki's
also
like,
sisters.
yes, this
Yeah.
is all
Wow.
normal and good. It's like, buddy, you are unloading on us right here.
No,
Yeah.
like I said, there's like it's an editing decision. It's not an animated movie. Even from like sharpening the knife, they hard cut to peeling the bamboo. Like this, the layers and the craft of this goes crazy. But that scene in particular, it's really effective.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then I would say Mahito does meet Grand Uncle, who
This
has
is
yeah.
real quick, this is the most Ando scene, to go back to our beloved Star of the Wind Rises. This is my most Evangelion sort of surrealism imagery. The triangle hallway that he has to walk through. I love the lighting sort of that he does with the animation on that everything looks so ethereal.
Yeah. This stuff is looking crazy.
And Grand Uncle is sort of like a wizard who has this tower of blocks, and the blocks represent our world, and he has to like keep this tower stable, because if the tower falls, then our world would be destroyed.
Well, the dimension they're in.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like he controls the dimension by having this tower, but and he says, Mahito, you could, kind of replace me as the guy that's like in control.
I hate this. I hate doing this. I
And
hate
I'm not-
that I have a job.
Yes,
I'm an old
correct.
man. Yeah.
I'm not good at
need
it
an heir.
anymore. I'm scared.
Yeah.
And so
AI's coming for me.
that's true.
Right.
Yeah. So we have 12 Miyazaki movies, and I saw somebody bring up that if you include Future Boy Conan, which was a TV series, the first thing he officially directed, that means there's 13 works that he's got, and he's got 13 blocks, and he's like, I just got these 13 things, and that's all I got. Like you got to figure out what to do with them now.
Line them up every day in different positions, and I see how long they can hold.
Yeah, and I'm running out of steam.
This is, I mean, I remember seeing this in theaters and being like, this is what the whole movie's about. I mean, it just like, this is the turnkey moment. And then again, like literally when he points to the meteor, and it's like, and if you want like very literal like reasoning for like why this happened, remember that meteor story I told you earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not in dreams, we're in the meteor dimension. Don't worry about it. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. But just like that, this is the moment of the artist statement where it's like, I create, and that creation can only last for so long. Who will create next? And you're like, oh my God. Jesus Christ, how do you live?
And what will you create?
But then Mahito is like, but look, these blocks are infused with malice.
They're
Like,
gross.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're building a world of malice.
birds. What are you doing, my man? You let these birds in here. What are you doing?
We see that reflected though, because there's a pelican war happening and the eating of the wara wara. Like there's the shit he brought into here has slowly become evil. We have an imperialist parakeet army. That's like there's
corrupted
malice. Things have become corrupted that he started. Correct. So he ain't wrong.
Right.
And
So
Mayuto's
Mayuto's like, no, I don't want to do
I
that.
bashed my
this-
brains in.
a
I
lot
can't
of
do
stuff."
this.
Don't you
Yeah.
know? Didn't you see me with that rock, my man? I'm
Yeah.
fucking messed up, dude. I'm not right.
All right now. Yeah, dog.
This is also when he's talking to the grand uncle. This is like a dream within this world because
Yes,
he actually is
he's-
being held captive by the parakeets at this point.
Okay.
Oh man,
Okay. Here's what I want to say.
that's
Yeah.
right.
The inceptionness that and again it goes back to Dark Souls where he's captured, it goes up to the triangle.
Yeah.
He has to go through the triangle, which if you're not of the bloodline has this weird cackling energy. We'll see this with the parakeets in a minute. Once you go through the triangle, you walk out of a balcony like you were in a fancy room, and then you're in a fancy room. But
Yeah.
specifically the way that it's animated, it's not like you walk out of the pyramid of light into that room. You literally appear. Like he animates you dissolving into that room still. Like the logic of it is so like we're moving through so many layers of even walking through a hallway is a portal. And you're like, even the hallway is a portal? It's like, it's all portals, baby. Like, we're moving
Don't worry
through like
about it.
so many layers. He's like, don't even worry about it.
Again, there's that moment when him and Himi go through a door, like they're trying to escape the parakeets. They go through a door back into their world, a time corridor, of course, and they're outside the tower. And that's when his dad sees him and he starts running towards him. And then all the parakeets come out, but they turn into normal parakeets. And his dad has like his samurai sword, and he starts slashing.
Kills all these birds. He just like slices their asses up.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Well, we have to go back because we can't leave that dimension without Natsuko. We have to go back for Natsuko."
Christian Bale says something very funny where he says, "My son has been turned into a parakeet."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mayuto was turned into a parakeet.
Mayuto's been turned to a parakeet.
But I do like that.
So they go back in the door. He's like, "Sorry, father, I can't come back yet. I have to go back into this world."
Yeah.
And so he wakes up he's being held in chains by the parakeets, and this is when the Heron actually comes and rescues him. Then they go back to the wizard.
Dies as a parakeet.
Right.
Yes.
But
they go back, except they're tailing behind the Parakeet King.
Parakeet King is like marching up to
the stepmom in the glass case. But I'm sorry, he's taking Princess Hime, who he has been betrothed to join the bloodline so that he can appropriately take over control of the tower.
Okay.
Cagliostro.
Yeah. That all makes sense. And so when Mayuto does,
then they have a very measured conversation where the great uncle's like, "Parakeet King, you're in a lot of trouble," and he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm the fucking Parakeet King."
That's right.
But they follow the Parakeet King, and the wizard or the grand uncle is like, "Look, I got these other blocks. These aren't infused with malice.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
can build a world full of peace and beauty."
I didn't show you my other sack earlier.
Right.
Oh, well, cool, dude. Why have you been using these ones?
Yeah. But then Mayuto refuses in acknowledging his own malice by saying, look, I cut myself on my head because I am also infused with malice.
I'm not
and this is when the Parakeet King is like, "Look, let me just do it. Let me stack the fucking things."
If it's just blocks, then let me play with the blocks.
Yeah.
And he gets frustrated where it's about to fall, and he gets his sword out and cuts it in half and goes, "Well, fuck everything." Yeah.
And that's when the meteor starts to
universe
implode or something, and the whole world is falling apart because of that.
And Grand Uncle says, "Go to the time corridor. The Parakeet King should not have done that." And you're like,
he kind of ruined everything. So you need to go back to your world through the time corridor. And this is when basically he realizes that Hime is his mother, and it's like, "Look, don't go back. You're gonna die in a fire." And Hime's like, "No, you don't understand. Like, I'm so excited to be your mother. You're gonna be great. Like, you have to go live your life now."
Crying my eyes out.
She says, "I'm not afraid of fire. You know, I'm just so excited to be your mom."
Because her power is fire in this world. And that
Right.
reminded me too of Hal's moving castle with the time dilation and stuff too, with the
Oh yeah.
old lady character who, and then she's, he says like wait for me and stuff, and like she goes through time and
Sophie, there you are.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
and then she
yeah. I've been
becomes
looking
young
at-
again but with gray hair. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Is Mahito saying like I can't do this job? I have malice. Is that like becoming to a place of self-awareness where before he's just being very reactionary, following his emotions, where now he can think about it and be like, I have work to do. I can't do the blocks right
Mike,
now.
Well, it's like
it is 100% him saying out loud, I need help. Like he
Yeah.
has not asked anyone for that this entire time. He just acts, and now he goes, why does everybody keep asking me to do things? I'm a child. Like this doesn't make any sense. I'm having a hard time.
Because the granduncle is like, look, okay, I made this tower and it's infused with malice. I'll give you these like new pure blocks and you can build a world that's just like pure and beautiful and peaceful. And Mahito's like, no, I can't do that. Like I have malice too. Like, why are you putting this all on me? I'm not the one to do that.
I think it's the whole, I mean, it's like, it's not our generation that's going to solve climate change. It'll be the next one. And they're like,
right,
we're all just killing the planet. Like, what do you want me to do? It's like, I can't do anything. Like, I'm paralyzed by all of it.
And that's kind of the attitude of like maybe the baby boomers, where it's like, yeah, we kind of fucked up this world in like many different ways, but don't worry, our children will fix everything. Believe in the children. They are the future and they will fix all the problems that we solved. And then the children are like, don't look at us. Like, why do we have to fix everything?
You've destroyed the route and avenue for us to even be put on a track to fix those problems. Like we have no ability to do that.
You will not get out of office. Please retire.
90.
Yeah.
And you
Grand
won't
uncle,
die.
Get the hell out of here.
Well, he's like, I'm
We tried
trying.
to shoot you at your press conferences, grand uncle, but you keep dodging me.
He says, Mahito, you need to build me a ballroom.
I'd be safer in this tower if there was a ballroom.
That's right. Is there something too to Miyazaki being like, all right, grand uncle fucked off years ago, basically abandoned his family, like threw himself into his work. Miyazaki reflects on that. Like, did I work too much and not spend enough time with my family? And then he's like,
he became obsessed with the power. Yeah.
And he's like, I made all this stuff. I made this tower. I did all this shit. And if it collapses, did it really even matter? Did it need to exist in the first place? All this shit that I did for all this time, did it fucking matter? Like, he's asking that.
Oh God. Does
you know?
Exist, Mike? And if you were one of
his
kids
matter.
who said to him, you disappeared in 1930 and crawled into a tower and nobody has seen you since, he'd be like, disappeared? I have my 13 blocks. He's like, I've got my things. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, yes, you do.
I think that is something he's thinking about, because he acknowledges, like, if you see these documentaries and stuff, like, he acknowledges he wasn't the best father that he could be. He wasn't there all the time for his kids because he was working so much. So he did prioritize his work over his family, especially when his kids were younger. And so he does have a complicated relationship with his son, Goro, but also Goro followed him into animation and, is doing his own thing. And of course, then you have the things of like, he's disappointed in like his son's work and stuff, but I feel like they have patched things up to some degree with in Goro's adulthood. I don't know, the whole situation. But
when Mike says that Miyazaki made this film for his grandson,
right? This is not for Goro.
Goro's like, would you explain to me what it's about? Like, do you think Goro's like talking to his kid, like, well, what's Grandpa trying to say here?
Yeah, right.
But it is interesting to think about, because he makes all these movies about childhood. And you have something like Ponyo, where you have the father who's away on the ship the whole movie. And so you do wonder, like, does Miyazaki wish he could do that part of his life over again and be a more present father? And a lot of fathers probably feel that way.
He's at least thinking about it.
He's cared for any I think he's honest to himself of, wow, I did do that. That's crazy. But I don't think there's a moment of regret in his heart. I don't think he looks at Goro and he's like, I should have spent more time with Goro. I think he's like, no, I spent exactly the amount of time I needed with that kid. Thank you.
My parakeet kingdom needs me.
He has his 13 blocks. Yeah.
Yep. I got my blocks, baby.
Right. So
I mean, that's kind of it, in that we go back to the real world and then we see everybody return. Like literally the Heron opens the door as they run out of the time corridor, and all the parakeets choose to come too. We see them revert. We see the king parakeet. We see the
Pelicans.
figurine turn into the older version of what's her name?
Kiriko.
Yeah.
Kiriko.
Yeah. And we see Hime goes through a different door because she has to go back
Yes.
to a different part of time, I guess.
1920, whatever, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
When she's a kid, yeah.
But he returns with Natsuko back to their time. And it is funny how the movie just kind of ends after that. He's like, yeah, and then we moved back to Tokyo 2 years later. And he sort of accepted
my
his
brother
life.
was born, he says. He says my mother had my brother. So he's like fully admitting that like they are family, and we left and returned to Tokyo.
Yep.
Yeah.
They live their life, Jacob. He goes and
How
lives.
do you live? Yes.
Right.
And so he's sort of come to terms with his losing his mother, getting a new mother who's actually his mother's sister, coming to terms with his new family situation. So in that regard, I think he did learn something.
Right. And the whole tower does collapse, which again to me is like the legacy of Granduncle. What is it? To him, probably not much. He's just going to Tokyo because what's important to him is his family and like what he's doing in front of him. The legacy of Granduncle is not important to Mahito. It's the family that he has presently. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. Because that whole thing's gone forever.
To stay and become the new wizard and control the tower, but instead he decided. Well, also the Parakeet King kind of ruined
the whole thing's done.
Let me go back to the real world. Yeah.
What a cop out.
Yeah.
Fucking Parakeet King.
But yeah, that life's work just goes to nothing. It can't be accessed ever again. You know, it's just a footnote now.
Oh, and so I'm seeing here in the Wikipedia, it does say the Birdman notices Mahito keeping a stone of power and advises him to forget his experiences.
Well, because they said that Hime didn't remember anything that happened to her in the door area. Right. You know, so it's like forget, and then when they're outside of the door, when they first go, when the dad sees him and fights the parakeet, she's like, yeah, if you let go of this door, you'll never find it again. Like, you'll lose your memory. So I don't know how that fully plays in, but yeah, he says most people forget. It's kind of a good thing. You should probably forget about all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. What does that mean?
So that's interesting. So
I don't know what it means. I don't know.
But that's the Boy and the Heron, aka How Do You Live?
How do you live?
I think we covered it pretty well. I mean, if you're confused, I mean,
you watch the same movie as us.
You don't have to understand everything. Yeah.
No, join the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we say?
Should we head over?
Let's have it over. Final thoughts, and we'll rank this thing
on our final
Miyazaki.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole a guy's bad at Jenga, and the universe ends. Crazy.
Right.
Right. No.
Well, I mean, one of the pieces is a ball.
That's what I'm saying. The Parakeet King puts the ball on, and he's like, maybe don't put the ball there. Like, of course,
not the middle, my man. That's gotta like lay in something.
I would keep it like captive on two sides at least, right? You know, ideally three.
I don't know. I don't know what I'd do with it. We're back here at Normies Like Us. The tower has crumbled. The dream has come to an end. The birds have flown the coop. We're done talking. The boy.
I'm the Heron.
And the
Oh yeah.
I'm totally normal sounding.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. A very interesting film to end our long form series on. Well, of course, we talked about doing a bonus episode next month, so we still need to figure out that.
Do we do it? Here's my new thing I threw out. Do we just say that was our longest series we've done so far? This was such an interesting capper, and we've talked about him so much. Do we just leave it at that? I don't want to do Goro the fail son.
No,
I don't want to do some off Studio Ghibli
Tale of
thing.
Earthsea.
I think we could.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do it, and we can just jump into our next long form series starting next month, a month earlier than we thought. But is it our longest form? Because we did Star Trek, that we did all the Star Trek movies. I mean, like you said, there was 12 Miyazaki movies. So that's a full year of Miyazaki. Maybe there is more. I can't remember with Star Trek because you had the OG movies, you had the Next Generation movies, and you had the J.J. Abrams movies. So that's
Yeah.
got to be close to 12 as well. But
My
don't
big
know.
wrap-up question, Jacob, is this his last film? Is he done?
I would say yes. I mean, but he fully intended again to retire after The Wind Rises, and then after a couple years of retirement, he was like, basically like, I'm kind of bored. Like, let me come back and work on something.
I'm dreaming about
Um,
birds. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. And so there's nothing saying that he couldn't do that again. I mean, he is again getting quite old.
what's that? What's that? What's that betting website that everybody's obsessed with now?
Like
Oh, is it
Kalshi or
Kalshi?
Polymarket.
Yeah,
Polymarket?
Couple ones.
Polymarkets.
There's a couple ones.
Polymarkets. Where are you putting
Yeah.
your money, Jacob? Last film or not? Yes or
I would
no?
say last feature film, because he did work on
Well,
in
maybe he
between
does it
this and
short.
in between The Wind Rises and this, he did work on a short film called Borrow the Caterpillar in 2018.
We will not be covering
So
that.
maybe we should talk about that.
Nope.
And that kind of, so basically he's like, look, I'm retired. Then he starts working on Borrow the Caterpillar, and he's like,
But I
let me
love
make another feature length film after that, because I did like working on that again. But I would say this is probably his final feature film, just because they take so long to make too. And he sticks to the old fashioned like hand drawing storyboards and stuff like that. Doesn't like to use computers if he can avoid it. I mean, he's used them in some of his movies, but he generally likes the old fashioned way. And it takes a long time to hand draw animation like this.
Yep.
Mike, final film?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to say final film because that's basically the conversation he's having is in this. It's like, I can't keep doing this.
And
you know?
yeah, I should say, so I have the quote here from, so Toshio Suzuki said that Miyazaki was working on the film for his grandson as a way of saying, quote, Grandpa is moving on to the next world, but he's leaving behind this film.
The next
Wow, the next
I'll
world.
be dead
So-
soon. Okay, well.
Yeah.
There's a quote in this that says, the only sincere world is the land of the dead. And that theme has come up before where it's like, the honesty is with the ghosts and the people that have no stake in, the current living world.
Something that we can't totally understand being in our 30s, that once you get to a certain age, you do start thinking about mortality and stuff like that, especially when you're 85 and you're like, I'm not going to be around forever and sooner rather than later, so you have to start thinking about your life and everything that, happened in your life.
There's something too, there's this idea that like being a spirit is simple because you know what you're supposed to do. Being alive is complicated. It's confusing. You don't know what's going on, but the spirit realm, everything is set and ordered, right? And like, so that's when they say that the world of the dead is the only sincere world. It's because like everything's as it should be. Meanwhile, our world is very messy, kind of thing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a complicated movie.
What a movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey. And the Heron.
Yep. I will say though, it got me fascinated in these silly little knives, and I got a little tiny one.
I'm proud of you, Mike.
And I'm getting a third one tomorrow.
Did you have those before, or you just got those after watching the movie?
I recognized it as a pattern of popular pocket knife. I've never owned one, and I was like, oh shit, Maito's got the classic Higo no Kami, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna get one finally. And I was comparing screenshots. I thought this was the closest one to the movie, but then there's another pattern that he's actually using, and I'm gonna get that tomorrow. So now I have 3 of these silly little knives because of this movie. But I knew what it was. I just never owned one, and then I saw this movie. I'm like, you know what? I think I want one of these.
Well,
now I have 3.
Mike, you're so inspired by that film to do that. We can keep talking about final thoughts on Boy and the Heron, but let's get your overall Miyazaki thoughts before we rank them. As a guy who was basically a neophyte, you had not seen a lot of these films.
No.
Jacob and I returned to pretty much all these, right? Yeah. Castle in the Sky was the only one I had not seen. Was there one you had not, Jacob?
Cagliostro is the only one that I hadn't seen before.
Yep.
That's hilarious. What did you think, Mike? What did you get out of doing this?
I think I mean he's the GOAT. Like I get it now. He has no misses. It's like this singular kind of vision as a director and his style of storytelling. Again, he has a lot of themes that he repeats and come up in his work, but that happens with kind of any artist. And yeah, I'm really glad to have watched his work. Like I said, I don't think he makes animated films. He makes films that happen to be animated. Works of art. So I'm really glad to have gone on this journey, and now I have a newfound appreciation for one of the best to ever do it. I'm bummed that this will maybe be the last movie because he's the best to ever do it. How do you guys feel?
What a career that he's had, and such a long career where you can really, like I said, he is an auteur, and it's getting rarer to have such a unique person like that in film, where you can watch every one of his films and you can immediately say, well, this is a Miyazaki film, and here are the themes that are present throughout his career. Here's his reoccurring things, and he is singularly unique in that regard. And I think, yeah, if you're a fan of animation, you should, and you haven't seen his films, like, definitely you're missing out. I mean, he's like one of the greatest ever. So, yeah,
that's really been the treat, because Jacob, you suggested this for our long form, kind of breaking format, as we've said, covering a director's work opposed to a franchise or series breadth. But that we don't do a ton of animation on this podcast. I'm not even just talking about anime. We don't do Pixar movie episodes. We didn't do one on that Beaver movie.
Well, we did Super Mario Galaxy movie, a very important movie.
But that's about it.
But will we do a Toy Story episode?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Probably not. They should have ended Toy Story after 3, I think.
Well, there we go. That's its own take. But that this let us dip into a world we don't talk about frequently. That even when we do talk about anime, it's usually through the lens of like a One Piece or something, where we'll be like, you know, we all have this varied kind of take on it. Truly, to the name of this podcast, the much more normie take to anime is the films of this man that we covered. Like, these are some of the most universally beloved and enjoyed animated films of all time. So it was very cool to get to dissect them.
What's funny is he has such a negative view about so much modern anime and animation, where he's like, yeah, like a lot of anime, they don't seem to like understand like what, like, people, you know, so it's like they don't have the realism that it takes.
Will you do a quick Google for me? What does he think of K-pop Demon Hunters? An animated movie featuring strong female leads. I'm just curious if he has said anything about this film. See if you can find anything. It has, I saw something written about it. It is one of the only films with female animated characters that lets them do cartoon faces. Like, they'll do like wacky faces when they eat food and stuff, because they don't have to be like glamorous and beautiful. They're allowed to like be animated cartoon characters. Like, would he like it? I feel like he would like it, right? But I feel like he also doesn't like anything.
Yeah, I can't find any direct quotes from him immediately on a quick. The terrible AI is saying that there is no direct quote attributed.
If you're watching on our YouTube, you're also seeing Jacob sitting in complete darkness now. By the way, I keep looking over at you, and it's so dark now where you are.
Pretty dark in your background.
Yeah, well, I realized as I was looking at you, I was like, shit, we're in the night.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's getting late here. I will say I found something about Miyazaki talking about being a father, and now I lost my place.
Worst decision ever.
A failure. How do you say he must be killed?
Yeah.
He said he tried to be a good father, but in the end he wasn't a very good parent, and Goro watched his father's works to understand him, since the two rarely talked. And he also said he felt like he owed that little boy an apology. In 2006, Goro said his father gets 0 marks as a father, but full marks as a director of animated film.
Holy shit.
I followed him into such a different relationship with my father. It's
right.
So interesting.
But
Wow.
Miyazaki sacrificed the relationship with his single son to be kind of all of our stepfather. Anybody who grew up with his movies,
Yeah.
That's a question of was
I don't
it
know,
worth
man. I don't think
Yeah.
so. Now that I hear it like phrased that way, I think he was.
he's
wrong,
enriched so many more
unfortunately.
young people's lives with the
Yes.
movies that he created than he could ever with one Goro.
But Goro, the
always,
planes. Have you thought of planes, Goro? And Goro's like, I don't care.
I don't like planes.
That's always something when you have a parent who has a very important career worldwide, whether it's an artist or anyone, and they prioritize their career over their family. Do they regret that later in life? How do they feel about that?
I had a neighbor whose dad was one of those guys who would wear the conductor hat, and he had a full model train kit in his
Heck yeah.
basement, and he would sit in the middle of it. He would use the wooden whistle, and my friend would just be like, no, like I don't understand
Dude,
it.
let him
at
have
all.
his trains.
And it just makes me laugh that this guy was like, I love airplanes. They're beautiful machines. And Goro's just, no, I don't. I do not
care.
get it.
Yeah, but again, he did follow his father into animation, and so.
But I like
he should
fantasy.
be
And he's like,
inspired in
no,
some
you
way.
should like surrealist dramas about like your inner turmoil. And he's like,
And
no,
yeah.
daily
I
life.
don't make movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Make earwig.
So
But
yeah,
anyway.
he's a complicated figure in that maybe he regrets some things about
A
his
tortured
life,
genius.
but ultimately, was it? You can say, well, one little boy's happiness versus a whole career of art that many people can appreciate for years to come.
Look, all you
Was
got to
it
do
worth
is
it?
look into the mirror and just say, hey, how do you live, baby? How do you live?
How
With
do
the
you live,
choices
baby?
you've made.
How do you?
Let's do the ultimate dishonor to this master and rate his work.
Yes.
All right.
We'll do our personal rankings from favorite to least favorite. Now, keep in mind again, personally, I don't think he's ever made a bad movie, and even the last place on my list, it's still a movie that I don't dislike. It's just if you have to rate one in front of the other, then some of them are going to be last, right? So just keep that in mind.
Right. These are all
Because we're not saying that any of them are bad.
These are all
Yeah.
good movies. Yeah, just some we prefer. Well, who wants to
and this
kick
is
it
a
off?
personal preference.
This is vibes, too.
Let's have Mike go last because I feel like his are going to be the most
I'm the
shocking
newest.
as a big first timer. Jacob, you and I are kind of going to be like trading here. I feel like. So
Okay.
who do you want to kick it off, or should I kick it off?
It's up to you. I could kick it off.
Yeah.
Should I just
go
read
ahead.
my whole list in order then?
Please do. Yes.
And again, this is just personal preference, so we may have
You want
different
to-
lists, but
You want to do bottom up though?
least favorite to favorite.
Yeah, like
I
you're
was
building a
gonna do favorite
tower
to
out of
least-
blocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So there's 12 movies total. So in order, I'll go from least favorite to favorite. So at number 12, I do have Ponyo. 11, I have Castle in the Sky.
Mhm.
10, My Neighbor Totoro. So that's bottom 3 for me. Not that any of them are bad, but 9, I have Howl's Moving Castle. 8, The Boy and the Heron. 7, Porco Rosso. 6, The Castle of Cagliostro.
Wow.
5, Kiki's Delivery Service. 4, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Wow.
3, The Wind Rises. 2, Spirited Away. And number 1, Princess Mononoke.
You
Wow.
love Nausicaa. I often forget that, but you
I
even
moved it up.
early when we said, and in that episode,
Yeah.
I think you even said you love that film, but you did move it
And I
up.
bumped it up on my list even more this time because I was like, you know what? Why am I trying to hide that that's one of my favorites? Because it is. And so maybe I put it above some of his better known or more critically acclaimed work. But again, my top 2, of course, Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away. How can you go wrong with either of
How
those?
can you go wrong? Come on.
Yeah.
And then The Wind Rises, number 3. I think that's an underrated one.
Tell me, where did Porco end?
Number 7, basically right in the middle. So I had,
That's
Okay.
cool.
and this is where it gets hard.
Cagliostro
'Cause it's
was your first one there too, right in the middle at 6, right?
Cagliostro at 6, Kiki's Delivery Service
Mhm.
at 5, So it's hard to rank these because it's like I like them all, and it's like how can I put one above the other? So even though Cagliostro is 6 out of 12, I still love it. I think it's an incredible movie.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just how can I rank it above my top 5? So
How do you rank?
that's my
Is that what
list.
you said? How do you
How
rank?
do you rank?
How do you
But
rank?
so Boy and the Heron, I do have at 8, which might seem a little low, but again, it's like it's just hard to rank them. And Howl's Moving Castle at 9, same thing. But I mentioned some
Here's
of
the
my
thing.
problems
Here's
with
the
that
thing.
as well. Yeah.
We're doing this whole episode. It's not like you're not engaged in great discussion. It's not like this whole time you just keep going, I don't know, I didn't really like it. I mean, putting this film at 8, like you're saying, it's like, again, you're saying like, it's a 4.5. Like it's a masterpiece.
Right. We just talked about all the hidden meaning within the film for 2 hours, and yet it's number 8 on my list out of 12. It's tough because it's all bangers. So, anyways, I want to hear your guys' list. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to read mine right now, and I'm going to go ahead and say that Jacob's is all bangers and no mash because I'm going to tell you this right now, Jacob. Get this.
Yeah.
Exact same bottom 4.
Wow.
Sure.
Exact same killer's row. Ponyo, Castle in the Sky, Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle.
Wow.
I think especially the bottom 3.
That order. Yeah.
The bottom 3 is easy to put at the bottom. Not that they're bad. Like Totoro and Ponyo are just
I moved
kids
Totoro
movies.
Up. Yeah.
Wow.
And then Castle in the Sky, which I still enjoy Castle in the Sky a lot.
I dropped
but again,
it down.
Yeah. But it's
our
more of a
episode
straightforward
is very
adventure.
unforgiving to that episode. We all just keep going, I don't know. It's more of the same. What do you want us to say?
So those
for
3
Castle?
are easy bottom 3. And then I think you and I kind of
for
agree on Hal's. Mike probably will have Hal's a little bit higher.
Yeah. I'm curious.
But,
I'll keep nailing it here. So I'll keep going.
Yeah.
So number 9 was Howl's Moving Castle. 8, Porco Rosso. 7, Spirited Away.
Wow.
6, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Mhm.
5, Wind Rises. 4, and I'm really happy about this, Castle of Cagliostro.
Hey, all right. Top
Guys,
4.
We moved that up from like 11 to 4. Like that.
Yes.
I had it 6, which I still think is pretty high, but it's just hard to.
Fucking incredible.
It's incredible. I'm glad you guys liked it. Yeah.
3, The Boy and the Heron. How Do You Live?
Wow.
And 2, Princess Mononoke. Number 1, Kiki's Delivery Service. I've made it pretty clear to you guys. I think Kiki's is my favorite movie, maybe one of my top 10 of all time. His best film is Princess Mononoke. Like I'm edging it as number 1, but in my heart, I know what his best film is.
Yeah.
Kiki's is another one higher, of course, but I had it number 5, and it's like, how can I justify putting it over any of my other ones when it's like it is like a lovely film, but it's maybe less symbolic and it has a less of a scope to it that like Princess Mononoke has more ambition to it, whereas Kiki's is just a very nice little film that's very enjoyable, but it may not have the same impact on me. But it's hard. It's hard to rank them.
It's like the most traditional coming of age. Like it's the most like linear plot structure he's ever done. It's very contained,
like,
right?
I feel like very cliche putting Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away as my top 2 because those are probably his best 2, his most critically acclaimed.
I mean, I was shuffling these around during this segment because I'm still like, it's all on vibes because they're all good, so everybody's going to have a different list. But guess what? They're all right because these are all must-watch movies. I don't think you should skip any of these.
That's right.
So
I think my hot take is having Wind Rises 3, which is maybe a little higher than some people, and then Boy and the Heron at 8, which is maybe a little lower than some people.
You really like Wind Rises. Now, I will defend my choice real quick before you read your list here, Mike, to just speak to the placement of this film on my list. Boy and the Heron I have at number 3. And it really resonates with me. I love it. That puts it very top tier, very high tier Miyazaki. My opinion on that is the comeback ability, the digestion, how hard it is, the challenging nature of this work. If you were to suggest to someone, do you want to watch a Miyazaki movie, an animated movie, like a children's movie, a fun movie, you might say like any of his work. If you were just like, yo, you want to see a fucked up movie, you would put this movie on. Like it stands singularly in his work as like, you want to see like something fucking crazy?
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend this one if I was hanging out. Like if I was hanging out with a normie friend and I said, "Let's put on one Miyazaki movie," I probably would not choose this one.
No,
No,
you
this is the
absolutely
niche.
would not.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And
But
actually,
if you were at a party, if everybody was in the right mood and they're like, let's put something crazy on, and you were like, yo, you want to see something crazy? You
It'd
could
kinda be
put
a
on the
downer
boy
for
in
a
the
party.
Heron.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think if I could choose one where I would just put on, if I was hanging out with someone who had never seen a Miyazaki film or was like vaguely familiar, and I was like, and I could choose the one to put on, I would actually put on my number 4, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
I knew you were gonna.
And-
fucking
hell
say
yeah.
that. I knew you
Yeah,
were
I was like,
fucking
check
say
this
that.
shit out. It's gonna blow your
Absolutely.
mind.
Have you seen
Yeah.
these fucking worms?
Have you seen
They're
the Ohm?
crazy.
Yeah.
Endorsed by the World Wildlife
All
Foundation.
right, Mike,
All right.
let's get that list, doggy.
So check it out. The bottom 3 were the same as yours, same order. 12 was Ponyo, 11 Castle in the Sky, and 10 was Totoro. Same bottom
So
3.
hold on.
Yeah.
Pause.
That's an
Let's
easy
put
bottom
some
3.
bullets in those 3. But why are they the bottom? It's what Jacob said. It's the child aspect of it. Is that?
Yeah, they're the
So-
most kid oriented. I think
Yeah.
Totoro and Ponyo are totally like kids movies. Castle in the Sky is like a kids adventure movie.
What
Yeah,
was the kid's name? Pinko or it's Poco or his name.
Something.
is. And he's like jumping around the sky.
Yeah, like
that movie.
no, Ponyo definitely like the most kid movie. Totoro's a very kid movie. Castle in the Sky, I feel like it recycled ideas from his other movies that were done better. Like it's like a mashup.
Generic.
Yeah. So that's the bottom 3. I guess
I
to
do
get
love
into
the steampunk world of Castle in the Sky as well.
no, it's a good movie. It's
Pazu and Shita
Pazu
and the air
Shita.
pirates. Remember, there's air pirates.
She gets that sick haircut
love
with the gun.
We love air pirates.
hmm
I don't
Yeah.
know, guys. Shia LaBeouf was in that movie. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, I wasn't
Shia
watching
LaBeouf
English
was?
dubs
Oh,
and that.
James
was the boy.
Vanderbeek. James Vanderbeek.
Was it
R.I.P.
James Vanderbeek was the kid?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
The
right.
beak. Damn
James
it, the
Vanderbeek
beak.
and Anna Paquin, and Mark Hamill was the villain, Muska. So another Mark Hamill.
Jake
came back.
wow.
Okay.
All right, keep going, Mike.
So then I got The Wind Rises at number 9, The Boy and the Heron at 8. I know I'm pretty low on The Wind Rises, but I don't know if I don't like planes. Again, this could change
That's
any
fair,
day.
that's
So
fair.
Wind Rises, Boy and the Heron at 8, Kiki's 7, Porco Rosso 6, and to get the top 5, I have Howl's Moving Castle, Mononoke at 4, Spirited Away at 3, Nausicaa at 2, and number 1, my goat,
Wow.
The Castle of Cagliostro. Let's go. It's the most fun.
That's insane. A couple things, Mike. I thought
Yeah.
you would have Porco higher.
Okay.
I thought you would have Howl's Moving Castle high.
I thought you would have Hal's top 3. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's in the top 5, and Porco's right under it at 6, dead middle.
because
But
of
Yeah.
how positive you seemed on Howl's when we talked about it.
I did. But then I'm
It's
like,
interesting. So your top 2 is Cagliostro and Nausicaa, which were his two of his earliest films.
His
It's
two
just-
first movies.
Cagliostro,
Yeah.
I fell in love with it at a young age, and I still think it's so much fun and so different. And I wouldn't show it to somebody who's never seen a Miyazaki movie first. But man, if you want to throw on something at a party, that's the one, dog. That's the one.
Yeah,
And
and
Nausicaa's,
Nausicaa too. I thought I would
incredible.
have it highest at 4. Yeah,
it was at 1 for a
That's
long
crazy.
time for me. And then I
Wow.
said, I just vibes coded it and said, you know what? Fuck it, Cagliostro, send it.
If it wasn't for all the manga stuff Jacob's talked about and really putting in my head that movie just ends out of nowhere and you're like, to be continued, it would be
Yeah.
number 1. Like
Yeah.
visually, protagonist, performance, Jean-Luc Picard, like guys, it's got like all of our guys in it. The Omi
Yeah.
are so cool. The Dune, like we all love Dune so much. Like I get it. I know why you guys
it's one
like
you can make some sick edits online of where you put like
Yeah.
some vaporware music behind it and have some crazy
you in that
images.
episode.
It's a
called
vibe.
it The most vaporwave movie to ever
Yeah.
exist. I do remember that. That's right.
Yeah.
Totally.
But no, these have been great. There's no wrong list. There's just your list. So,
No.
how do you rank?
And where did you
Normies,
have,
like we said?
How do you live?
How do you rank? And where did you have Princess Mononoke? What number?
4.
3?
Spirited Away is 3.
Or what was your 3?
Spirited Away.
You like Spirited Away more than Princess Mononoke. Wow.
I think I've just seen it so many times that I was more surprised by these ones I never saw before, to where that it's maybe a recency bias, but like Spirited Away was just, I don't know, it's special, fun little fairy tale adventure. Like I've seen Mononoke. It's like heavy. It's like heavy, you know, and I don't always want heavy, you know.
Right.
It's just so crazy that like Michael B. Jordan can be on a red carpet right before he gets an Oscar, and they're like, "What's your favorite movie?" And he's like, "Princess Mononoke."
It's got all the qualities. I have 5 stars ranked. You know, it's a 5-star movie for me.
Yeah, dog.
Leonardo DiCaprio was like, showed Martin Scorsese, he's like, you got to watch this Princess Mononoke. Like, check this shit out.
That's awesome.
Damn.
So, yeah.
I would say they're all 5 stars until I get down to my number 8, which is Porco Rosso, which is when they switch to 4.5. And then by Castle in the Sky and Ponyo, I'm giving those like 3 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's an easy bottom 3, and I think bottom 4 with Hal's. Like, Colin and I are a little more down on Hal's, putting it at number 9. Porco I have above Boy and the Heron, because I just think Porco Rosso is just such a fun movie to watch. And come on, you got Michael Keaton voicing a pig.
Another Batman.
Flying a plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Fucking Batman.
But again,
no, he's got to make another movie so we can get Ben Affleck in there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's again, easy bottom 3. Not that those are bad movies at all. And then the top 9 is just your personal preference, really. And it's all bangers, no mash.
All bangers, no mash.
No skips. When you talk about a music album that has no skips, this is a career that has no skips.
Nice.
And how often can you say that about a filmmaker or a director or an artist?
That's true.
We're leaving filmmaker talk. We're going back to franchises for a long form. Jacob, reveal what that is, because it's in fact I would call a ton of skips. I don't know. Should we?
Well, since we're saying we're not going to do a bonus Miyazaki, not do a bonus Ghibli. This is the last Miyazaki episode, and what a great send off! And it has been a full year basically, because we started last May. We're in April now.
Miyazaki to Miyazaki almost.
12 months of Miyazaki.
We made it.
We made it. And now for something completely different, because we are going back to, like you said, we're going back to franchises. We're going back to some questionable directors within this franchise. Some problematic people. But we are Normies Like Us. We talk a lot about comic book characters, superheroes, cape shit. You know, we have the MCU, we have the DCU now. James Gunn's It'll Never Die.
No,
this gun has infinite bullets. But we do have a certain shared universe that is sort of coming to an end. And actually, it's relevant because we have Avengers Doomsday coming out in December that's heavily featuring these characters for the last time. And so we are talking about X-Men.
Ooh, that's right. To me,
we're talking my ex-norms. The Fox, 21st Century Fox shared universe of the X-Men, starting with X-Men, directed by BS, as we all know.
BS, man. Villain art.
Israel's own. Tell Brian Singer. That's dog. I hate to tell you, it's both of them.
They both.
Yes.
Oh my! That's where every disgraced director goes.
Israel, dog. I don't know.
Woody Allen also lives in Israel.
Jesus,
is that true? And Quentin Tarantino.
For Tarantino.
Now, here's my question, Jacob.
Yeah.
That is a lot of films that have in the title X-Men. Now, are we also stretching this to include Deadpool, Wolverine, anybody who has had a spin-off of the X-Men franchise?
Oh man,
that's my understanding of what we're doing. We're going to be covering
doing it all.
The X-Men mainline movies, the spin-offs, the Deadpools, except for Deadpool versus Wolverine, because we actually already covered that when it came out. Wow. So we did an episode on that. So maybe we'll skip that one.
We'll do it again.
We could do it again, but I do think we should do like Deadpool 1 and 2, X-Men Origins Wolverine. We can even do New Mutants, the final film in the X-Men universe, you could say. So yeah, but especially the mainline movies. We have X-Men, we have X2, we have X-Men The Last Stand, We
Nice.
have Days of Future Past. We have First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, Dark
Right.
Phoenix.
Right. Dark
Those are all the
Phoenix.
main lines.
A movie
Right.
I've only
Yeah.
maybe seen once. Yeah.
I refuse to see
Yeah.
it. So
Mike, have you seen a ton of the X-Men movies? Is this another first
That's a good
timer for you?
I've seen the original trilogy. I've seen X-Men Origins Wolverine and First Class and Logan and the Deadpool movies. So there's a couple that I missed.
Okay, so there's X-Men Origins Wolverine, then there's the Wolverine,
Oh, well.
then there's Logan.
The Japan one I haven't
right.
seen. The
We'll get
Silver
to that.
Samurai
Seen the
one.
Wolverine. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That's right, Logan.
That one's mostly good. And then of course
Even I
there's,
love Logan.
Oh, I love
Even I
Logan.
watched Logan recently and didn't stop talking about it for like a whole week. We were like, man,
Logan is one of the
Logan,
greatest superhero movies of all time, I think.
Yeah, I like Logan a lot.
And of course we have the new cast, which is the James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender taking over for Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. We have First Class. We have Days of Future Past, which is the combination of the two casts.
But now we're
Yeah.
not including Multiverse of Madness, where a Patrick Stewart shows up.
No, I don't think we need to include that one. But it'll be because we'll culminate. Well, we'll go a little past when Doomsday comes out, but Doomsday is heavily featuring these X-Men characters for the last time, basically, because they're essentially Doomsday is going to revamp the X-Men universe and bring the new X-Men cast that they're going to have into the MCU. And we had some, maybe we have Spider-Man coming out. We have some hints of a certain
Let that sink
character
in.
that may rise from the ashes.
Sadie Sink joke.
Let's say you could take a popular redheaded character from a popular TV show, a redheaded actress from a popular TV show, and make her this character, such as a Game of Thrones or a Stranger Things.
You guys gonna watch that Stranger Things cartoon?
Oh God! Unless
you keep
they
bringing
make me.
it up.
Are we gonna do an episode on it? Probably not, right?
You're threatening us.
Tales from
I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it
because I want to know.
I'm
if
good.
They're gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it.
You keep
No
asking
intention.
if we're gonna do an episode on it.
Yeah.
So
Nope,
I don't
I'm
think
out.
so.
Now
but-
the listeners heard on air. We're not doing an episode on Stranger Things.
Nice, dude.
86 or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
quit asking us, normies.
Yeah, quit asking us. It's
But
in
we're
our
very
rider.
excited to talk
We're doing
to
X-Men.
talk about some movies directed by
Woo!
pedophiles and people that
Sex
we don't
criminals.
Sex pests
Yeah.
galore.
Like so many of them. Yeah, like
Yeah.
in an inordinate amount. So
From
get
the
it.
Honestly,
director of
Dark Phoenix,
Melania.
I've never seen Dark Phoenix. I saw Apocalypse and thought, "Oh, this movie sucks. There's no way I'm seeing the
It's
next."
I haven't seen either of
Dog
those.
shit.
Yeah, so Dark Phoenix will be a first time viewing for me, which will be interesting.
This is
the
gonna be
Michael
wild.
Fassbender ones. I mean, we get to talk about James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender for like
Yeah,
4
Jennifer
and,
Lawrence.
and
Hmm.
Jacob. I was about to say, who do I have the world's biggest crush on? The love of my life,
right.
fucking Jennifer Lawrence,
Making
baby.
Mystique
Get
a much
ready.
more important character
Yeah.
than she ever
I've been,
should be.
people don't
arguably.
know the franchise I push for is Hunger Games all the time. So this is me secretly
do.
getting my way. Yeah.
And hey, maybe
Nice.
we should do Hunger Games after X-Men because I did see all those movies. Even saw the new or the most recent spin-off, and now there's going to be a new spin-off in different
There's so
periods
many
of the Hunger
of
Games.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, but we have Elle
Yeah.
Fanning as that one character. So
Did you guys ever
look,
see
these
New
are all
Mutants?
Colin's interests.
You saw
New
New
Mutants
Mutants?
I've never seen also, and that's one Colin has.
I have it
has
on.
seen.
I have it on 4K or something like
Hell
that. Like,
yeah.
I love New Mutants. It turns out, Mike. It stars your favorite actress. Fucking.
Well, I know,
Furiosa.
right? We got
Yeah, Anya
Furiosa, we
Taylor-Joy
got
as
Jonathan
Magic.
Byers, and Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. It's all stuff that Jacob loves.
Right,
Oh,
that was
yeah,
the period
dude.
where they were just like, let's get every Game of Thrones actor
Yeah.
because they had Sansa as Jean Grey, then they have
Uh-huh.
Arya as in this New
And
Mutants one.
Werewolf.
Maybe anyone from Stranger Things could be a movie star, and they're like, no.
Nope.
No,
the
just Sadie
answer
Sink.
is no. Yeah, the answer is not at all.
No.
Enola Holmes 3.
Yeah.
Colin,
Oh
don't
yeah,
forget about
dog.
Enola Holmes 3.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Two Homes, Too
Um,
Curious.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see some of these. I actually liked First Class. I like Days of Future Past, so it'll be interesting to revisit those. New Mutants, that's sort of an interesting one because it's like a horror movie kind of. I know I haven't seen it, but I like the casting of Anya Taylor-Joy as Magic, but I also heard
Yeah.
that they kind of like fumble that character, even though it's a great
Let's
casting.
say a lot of this is coming from how energized we are by Rivals, right?
Yeah, we love Rivals and we love the X-Men. We have X-Men 97 season 2 coming
Oh
out
yeah,
soon.
hell
We
yeah.
have
Remember it.
again, we have Spider-Man, we have Doomsday coming out, so the MCU is kind of back and the X-Men are kind of back, and with the Deadpool versus Wolverine was kind of the closing the door on this X-Men universe, and Doomsday is like finishing the closing of the door, I guess. But as we saw in that trailer, we've got Old Man Picard and Gandalf doing their thing.
Do you guys think by Doomsday, Ian McKellen will still be alive?
I hope
Yes.
so. I mean, they already shot his scenes, so but
His spirits are too
yeah,
high.
they're pretty old.
I
that's-
watched that trailer for the Christophers recently. That new movie's got coming out. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, you're
Steven
like
Soderbergh.
old now, dog.
Dang.
It's like,
He's very
oh,
old, but it's like Patrick Stewart. They keep bringing him back. Oh, we'll do more Picard. We'll do more Professor X.
This is our
There's the-
third time seeing Professor X get killed.
Oh yeah.
Happens
It's
so
time to
many
say
times.
goodbye to these characters and bring in a new cast, which I'm excited for in 2027 and beyond. But I'm excited to revisit these movies and an earlier era of superhero movies in the 2000s when no one really knew what they were doing. Pre Iron Man, pre the MCU. We
Yeah.
have the black leather. We have all those great 2000s isms of these movies. So that'll be interesting to revisit.
I haven't rewatched the original trilogy, as it were, in probably 20 years or something. I don't know if it can be that
The second
long.
one is best.
It's been a long time, at least 15 years.
The third one is terrible. The second one's good. First one is pretty good for an earlier, from my recollection. So we'll have to see. But
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, that's what we're doing. X-Men.
Nice.
We'll have to wait and
Excited about it. From acclaimed directors to shamed directors. That's the pivot we're making.
Yeah,
Do you wanna
it's amazing
say,
how many of those movies that Bryan Singer is involved with.
And more. He wanted to do more. They were just like, no, you have to be done. He was supposed to come back for Dark Phoenix. So they're like, no,
That's when
you
he got canceled.
literally canceled. You have to be done.
Jesus, yeah.
And he made he made a Superman movie in between as well.
And that will be the bonus episode for that series.
Oh, God.
Jacob, do you want to
With
tell
Kevin
people-
Spacey in that movie. Anyways,
quiet.
Jesus
Tell
Christ.
people what's gonna be
No.
up next week.
next week, we've got some exciting things coming up. We're
Yeah.
entering May, no longer Miyazaki. But we're sticking perhaps in the country of Nippon.
Mm. Hi.
Because to a certain degree, in next week, I think we will be talking about, in combination with its IMAX 4K re-release that's happened recently, we'll be talking about the Wachowskis' Speed Racer.
Yes. Okay, I get the connection now. An anime live action movie. That's a perfect pivot after doing anime. We'll do a live action anime movie.
Yes,
Maybe
based on
the
Speed
first
Racer, the anime.
anime I ever saw, like maybe even before
Yeah.
Dragon Ball, was episodes of Speed Racer.
I weirdly also saw, when I was like a young kid, episodes of Speed Racer that my parents had like recorded onto a VHS tape, and
Weird.
saw these old Speed Racer episodes. Yeah, so that'll be really fun to talk about. So we got Speed Racer coming up, then we've got Mortal Kombat 2 new movie dropping.
Nah.
We've got Mandalorian and Grogu. We've got The Boys. We've got Masters of the Universe. So we've got some new things coming out that we're going to be talking about. So I'm very excited for all of that.
Yep.
Mortal
New
Kombat,
shit.
Masters of the Universe, Street Fighter, all getting new movies this year. It's
I'm
a big
so
year for 80s
Yeah.
nostalgia, as it apparently always is, but that's what we got. Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep. We're ramping up video
and video
games. Yeah. It's huge now. We're petering out on superheroes. We'll see if Doomsday can bring back the the interest in the genre, but I don't think so. I think it's video game season out here. But yeah.
Yeah, and we've got the Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. Which one's going to win in our hearts?
That's
and
true.
minds?
I don't know. But we'll be
Find
talking
out.
about all of it, and you just got to tune in, Normies. That's the best part. Just show up same place, same time every week, and we'll be putting out that sweet,
Right.
sweet content.
So we've got X-Men coming up, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So stay tuned for lots of fun.
Stay tuned
thank
and
you,
stay
as always,
gooned.
for going on this. Stay gooned. Stay in those goon caves. Keep watching. Keep listening. We appreciate you on this journey with this Miyazaki films. Again, it was a sort of
It's been a great journey.
So
Yeah.
if you stuck around, we appreciate that. And
I'm glad we did it.
Tell us
And
how
I'm
you
glad
live.
Mike was
too.
able to see all these movies. Yeah. And
Tell
we
us
love
how you
Hayao
live.
Miyazaki.
by hitting us up at normies_like_us on all social media. Rate, review, subscribe. Check out the YouTube. Thank you so
Yes.
much. We've been your hosts. This is
That's right.
Fire Princess Colin.
This is Mike Azaki. I hate everything except these movies.
And this is Jake Azaki saying goodbye to the master. Hopefully not forever, but thank you for joining us on this journey of Miyazaki, and I hope you had as much fun listening as we had talking about them.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Hayao Miyazaki. Catch you next
Hayao
time.
Miyazaki. Bye.
Bye.
Sayonara.